Everything is perfect.
What does that mean?
It means that everything that's happening right now is actually a perfect manifestation of a maturation of a species. We don't actually have, a polycrisis going on. We've got a hospice moment. And the joy that I had as a hospice doctor was so different than when I was running ICUs and battling against death and failing against death every day. You change your perspective for a moment as a doctor, and you suddenly are sitting by somebody's bed, and the victory is no longer staying alive longer. It's integrating everything that's happened. And I got to watch over and over again how humans at that last few minutes of life suddenly look back and realize their life was perfect. And I think that's the exciting moment we're in, is we're going to move past this polarized state of human perspective where we keep flipping the victim-perpetrator code, and we use the savior mentality to keep that victim-perpetrator coin flipping to keep a mirage going. And we can get into why we created the mirage in the first place. But in the hospice moment, you suddenly put that coin down, and somebody starts dipping across the veil of the limited five senses of their brain, and they start feeling an ecstatic moment where they realize, oh my God, the whole thing was poetically perfect. All of the heartbreak, all of the estrangement, all of the disappointment, all of the insecurity. I did that for the experience, and I felt everything. I felt everything a human can feel. And you get to see somebody who just a moment ago really thought their life was a failure, difficult time with their kids, never became successful in their jobs. And they suddenly realized it had nothing to do with any of those metrics. It had to do with the experience of feeling everything a human being is capable of, which is probably one of the most unique experiences a soul can have. We are a very strange species for the limitations of our perception. And for that, we get to feel a lot. And that's really blessed. And so I think we're moving towards this moment as a species now. We're on our hospice bed, and we've been here 300,000 years in our current form. We've been given our hospice diagnosis. We got a few decades left in this current form. At that moment when we put down that victim-perpetrator polarized sense of like, he's right, she's wrong, she's right, he's wrong, we set that coin down, we're going to suddenly have a hospice moment where everything suddenly makes sense, and we understand why we did the journey together. We realize that those that we thought were our enemies or the biggest problems of our lives were holding polarity to a human experience that was waiting for our deathbed moment, because about 10% of hospice patients don't die. They get discharged and go on to live a new life.
Saw your face at 2 a.m. Blue light glowing through my hands. You were laughing in that bar, posting songs inside your car. Almost typed and closed the chat, overthinking after that. Then you posted cigarettes, caption said I can't forget, so I replied something dumb about the song. You reacted with a heart, and suddenly we talked too long. Now it's every single night, typing under city lights, sending memes and voice notes slow, things nobody else would know. You say come over as a joke. I say maybe through the smoke. Two strangers in the dark, getting close through broken hearts.
The shaman is not an unambiguous figure. The shaman is not leading people into a realm of unmitigated happiness. Rather, shamans lead people into realms of risk and opportunity. And that needs to be understood. They are tricksters.
What is the meaning of the virgin birth? In India, there's this the system of the Kundalini, as it's called, the idea of the centers, psychological centers up the spine. And they represent the psychological planes of concern and consciousness and action. The first is at the rectum, and this is that of alimentation. The serpent represents this, a traveling esophagus going along, just eating, 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 eating. And all of us, we wouldn't be here if we weren't eating. And then the second center is at the sex organ center, and that's the urge to procreation. The third center is at the navel, and this is where you eat and want to consume, and it's not the alimentary eating, it's the mastering and smashing and trashing of others. You see, this is the aggressive mood. Now, the first is an animal instinct. The second is an animal instinct. The third is an animal instinct. And these three centers are located in the pelvic basin, you see. Mm-hmm. The next one is at the level of the heart. And this is the opening of compassion. And there you move out of the field of animal action into a field that is properly human and spiritual. Now, in each of these centers, there is a symbolic form. At the base, the first one, there is the form of the lingam and yoni, the male and female organs in conjunction. At the heart chakra, there is again the male and female organs in conjunction, but in gold. This is the virgin birth. It's the birth of spiritual man out of the animal man. Do you understand what I'm saying?
And it happens
when you are awakened at the level of the heart to compassion and suffering with the other person. That's the beginning of humanity. And the meditations of religion properly are on that level, the heart level.
You say it's the beginning of humanity, but in these stories, that's the moment when gods are born, the virgin birth. It's a God who emerges from that chemistry.
And you know who that God is? It's you. All of these symbols in mythology refer to you. You can get stuck out there and think it's all out there. And so you're thinking of Jesus and all the sentiments about how he suffered and all. What that suffering is what ought to be going on in you. Have you been reborn? Have you died to your animal nature and come to life as a human incarnation?
Why is it significant that this is of a virgin?
Well, it is that the begetter is the spirit. It is a spiritual birth. The virgin conceived of the word, but through the ear.
The word came like a shaft of light.
Yes. And now the Buddha was born from his mother's side at the level of the heart chakra. That's a symbolic birth. He wasn't born from his mother's side, but symbolically he was.
But the Christ came the way you and I come.
Yes, but of a virgin.
Which is a power greater than...
And then, according to Roman Catholic doctrine, her virginity was restored. So nothing happened physically, you might say. It's not a physical birth. It's symbolic of a spiritual transformation. That's what the virgin birth's about. And so deities are born that way, who represent beings who act in terms of compassion and not in terms of the lower three centers.
The Lord's Prayer begins, "Our Father, which art in heaven."
Yeah.
Could it have begun, "Our Mother"?
This is a metaphorical image. This is a symbolic image. And to make the point that it's not your father, your physical father, we have our Father who art in heaven. But heaven again is a symbolic idea. Where it would heaven be? It is no place. all of the references of religious and mythological images are to planes of consciousness or fields of experience potential in the human spirit. And these are to evoke attitudes and experiences that are appropriate to a meditation on the mystery of the source of your own being, I would say. So there have been systems of religion where the mother is the prime parent, the source, and she's really a more immediate parent than the father, because one is born from the mother, and then the first experience of any infant is the mother, so that the image of woman is the image of the world. You might say that mythology is simply a translation of the world into a mother image. We talk of Mother Earth and so forth.
But what happened along the way, Joe, to this reverence that in primitive societies was directed toward the goddess figure, the great goddess, the Mother Earth? What happened to that?
That comes in primarily with agriculture and the agricultural societies.
Fertility and all of that?
It has to do with the earth. The human woman does give birth as the earth gives birth to the plants. She gives nourishment as the plants do. So woman magic and earth magic are the same. They are related. And the personification then of this energy which gives birth to forms and nourishes forms is properly female. And so it is in the agricultural world of ancient Mesopotamia, the Egyptian Nile, but also in the earlier planting culture systems that the goddess is the mythic form that is dominant.
Because of this obvious perception of creation issue.
That's right.
Fertility.
And when you have a goddess as the creator, it's her own very body that is the universe. She is identical with the universe. And in Egypt, you have the Mother Heavens, Nut, the goddess Nut, who's represented as the whole heavenly sphere.
So it would be natural for people trying to explain the wonders of the universe to look to the female figure as the explanation for what they saw in their own lives.
Not only that, but then when you move to a philosophical point of view, the female represents what in the Kantian terminology we call the forms of sensibility. The female represents time and space itself. She is time and space. And the mystery beyond her is beyond pairs of opposites. So it isn't male and it isn't female, it neither is nor isn't. But everything is within her, so that the gods are her children. Everything you can think of, everything you can see, is the production of the goddess.
Phone lights glowing in the dark bedroom. Rain outside while the city hums. Your name flashing on my screen again, and suddenly I can't pretend. Soft voice dripping through the speakers slow, like velvet smoke moving through my soul. Every whisper pulls me near, like your body's already here. Call me closer. Ooh, don't hang up. Late night talking with the low bass sound. Your makes my defenses fall. You say my name in that dangerous tone. Now my lonely room don't feel alone. No touch, but I can feel your heat moving slowly underneath the beat. Stay on the line. Take your time. Street lights glowing through the window glass. Heartbeat racing while the minutes pass. Your soft laughter melts into the night like neon dreams holding me tight. No games hidden in your voice tonight, only tension underneath the lights. Every silence says what words can't do. Now all I wanna hear is you. Ooh, talk to me slow. Don't let go. Maybe midnight made us feel this way. Two lost hearts with too much left to say. Every second pulling me in deep, till your voice becomes my favorite dream. Soft whispers mixed with static waves, like temptation floating through the rain. Now the only thing inside my head is your midnight voice inside my bed. Closer now. Stay somehow. Underneath the city's fading light, your voice keeps me alive tonight. Like a fire burning through the dark, you leave your echo in my heart. Call me again tonight, till the sunrise.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome. I hope you enjoyed that intro. I tried to kind of have a more artistic, sultry feel this week because we're going to be looking at some art today. And I thought I'd bring in a little different emotion to our normal mornings, or evenings, excuse me, here at Nature Creature. And I just wanted you guys to know that for the next 3 weeks, we got some pretty great intros. Next week, we're going to be getting into, wow, an enormous subject called the Great Awakening. And we are going to be looking at it from the perspective of Jung, Watts, and McKenna. So I'm currently, right now, I've been working on some intros for the shows, one that's going to be focused on McKenna, another one that's going to be focused in on Watts, and then maybe one on Jung. I'm not sure. I've got a video that I worked on in the early summer about 3 months ago, that I never released. That's a bit controversial, so I'm thinking about releasing that one on week 2. But let's go to comments to see how you guys are doing. Let me bring up the logo for tonight. Media assets. Here we are. There we are. Good deal. And let's see how you guys are doing. Nice. Good to see you, Fortune. Hi, Miss Redhead. Hello. Hi, Marlowe's. Chuck, you kind of always look in love when you're entering the chat. Because I am. I love the chat. I love my chat family. Y'all have been an enormous, thank you, Mythological Muse. Y'all have been an enormous support to me. I received some amazing letters this week. We are continuing on in the struggle. That is a part of life that sometimes families go through. So we are in that, and I really appreciate y'all's support and being here. It's been good for me to have some focus here on some of the talks that are coming up and some of the artwork that's required to present nature creature in a way that's appropriate and inviting. And so we got some heavy duty stuff coming up, and it's been good to be studying this week. It helps keep my mind off the situation as it is, because it's not going to change for a while. Hey, Biker Chick. Hey, Gail. It's good to see you. Yeah, I can't wait to look at art with you guys tonight. We're gonna be doing something different as a family tonight. We're going to be looking at art, and I love looking at art with people. I do. I would love to go to the museum with a few of you. It'd be fun. Hi, Scooter. How you doing? Hey, Lady Fantastic. Hello. Hello, Philip. Hi, Mythological Muse. Hi, John. I got my prescription for Zoom. Nice. Good to hear it, John. I'll be looking forward to seeing you. Hi, Don Fry. Welcome. You paint. Nice. Outstanding. Nothing wrong with being a painter. Nina Simone, music always hope. Hello, Lady Fantastic. Hi, Gloom or Doom. No naked art. It will pull the video. Yeah, no naked art. Nuh-uh. We'll be looking at some Japanese Zen works today. We're going to be looking at a few of those. We're actually going to be bringing up some of the things that I actually learned in high school from Mr. John Jenberg, who was my high school photography teacher. And some of the art we'll be looking at today will be better because of the work of Mr. Jenberg. So huge shout out to him. Hi, Biker Chick. Welcome. Hello, Bonfire Beach. How you guys doing? It's good to see you all. Hi, King. Yeah, glad you like the groove. I got some good stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. Some of it's heavier, some of it's I got a bluesy jazz that's coming up for the Watts intro. That'll be really good. I've got some Nickelback coming up with the controversial video I did. I'm looking forward to playing some good stuff for you guys. Hey, Jay, what's going on? It's good to see you, my friend. Hi, Lighthouse. Almost sounds like John Denver. I don't think you're going to think next week sounds like that. All good. Today, we also finish our series on Zen. Can you believe it, guys? Some of you guys that have been here for a while and walked all the way through Zen are going to be pleased to know that we finish it up today. We'll be reading together a number of pages from the chapter. It's a beautiful closing to the book, a fitting end to our work that we've done with Zen. Definitely an excellent series to take your time to watch, for sure. Yeah, he sure was. You're correct, Ronnie. He sure was. Oh, why am I not showing the comments? Here we go. There you go. And what format do you guys like? We can also do it in a wide format, or that's not so good, or tall. Tall is kind of good. We can see more at once. Don't you love Van Gogh? Amazing, amazing artist. The story of his life is unbelievably tragic. In case y'all don't know this, he was the gentleman that cut his own ear off. He and mailed it to, I think, his former lover. He struggled with tremendous depression, and so his paintings are incredibly feeling and beautiful. That's why I used one of them on today's opening. Yeah, you will finish another binder, Mythological Muse. It's a beautiful ending today. It's going to be a good ending to Zen. It's good to see you, Don. How you been, buddy? I love your pup there. Very nice. Very nice. Nice. Gotta love the Dutch. Speaking of Dutch, F1 is going to be in Zandvoort next week. The big Dutch GP. Last one, I think. Isn't this their last year under contract? I don't think they're going to be in a contract after this year. And it's a big question as to what happens to Max Verstappen. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Yeah, he was. He did see life very lucidly. It's painful. Very painful. Hi, Linda. Good to see you. Hello. My mother adored his works, graced her home in the country with his nature art pieces. Yeah. Monet was another one. His Haystack series, bring a tear to your eye. I hope to see some of those paintings for real. I think when you get in the midst of a painting, you actually enter a much deeper element of its energy. And so I look forward to the day when I can see some of these pieces, the real thing, see the real deal. It would be amazing. It would be incredible to see those pieces in person. I mean, that would be huge. Yeah, so thanks for asking. We here at Nature Creature, this isn't just a channel that talks about latest and greatest stuff going on and controversial subjects and the pretty effed up world that we live in. That's not what Nature Creature is about. Nature Creature is about studying the world and history, knowing ourselves so that we can better ourselves and be better contributors to the collective. And so as part of that, that is basically equal to a driver's trophy case. That's the Nature Creature trophy case, and it is filled with the lives that have been saved because of the work that we do here. We are a little bit different here at Nature Creature. We're a little bit different flair. We're not like the typical sort of controversial, challenging channel. We're more about the human experience, becoming an exemplar of the human experience in life, being an example to others of the nonplussed lifestyle and the transparent life. And so these are the qualities that we really try to emulate here. And so that has had a heavy effect on a few people. As you know, the world is saved one life at a time. And so we have a unique kind of group of misfits that we all are here. And most people that are here have really been kicked in the mouth a number of times in life, and maybe are still being kicked in the mouth. And many people here don't live under an illusion anymore. They realize that life is not what it appears to be. And so when people get around that haven't been exposed to that kind of energy and vibration, it tends to encourage, I like to say evoke, it tends to evoke an entirely new ontology, which would be your approach to the world. And when your perspective and ontology shifts, a lot of times or sometimes you will find renewed reason and vigor for life. And that's one of the offsprings of self-identity. One of the greatest crimes ever committed against humanity was the disassociation of people from who they are. And so we at Nature Creature encourage people to find out for themselves who they are. And oftentimes when they discover who they are, which is a perfect holistic nature creature, they find an entirely new reason to live. And so that is a remembrance of people who came here to Nature Creature, found us, and over the course of attending our Saturdays and possibly even Zoom and our Wednesday evenings, like a person that would attend an AA meeting, they found, this person who came here found new vigor for life, a new reason to live. I have a meth addict that is alive with us today because of Nature Creature. I have at least 2 alcoholics, probably more like 5, that were former alcoholics that have now left alcoholism because of the work that we do. Had a number of people who were suicidal, who had the gun on the table and they were ready to take their life. Nature Creature began to play on their phone and they put the gun down. That's incredible. So that's what we do here. We're a part of helping the world save itself. And we do that through compassion, love for one another, care and transparency with one another, and no conditions, open, very tolerant of others' viewpoints. We are not a religion. We are not a belief system. We're a philosophy. Nature Creature is a philosophy, like Buddhism is a philosophy, like Hinduism in many ways is a philosophy. And so we try to model that, especially the Platonic idea, or learning through questions, questioning yourself and questioning the world. So that is our treasure. We all share in that 23 together, and many of the people who are on that list or have a number, most people know their number, are still here in our chat. And so our chat is a living testimony of the ethos that is Nature Creature. Great question. Thank you for that. That was a great question. Hi, Bob. Chuck, we're part of the Wounded Healer Awakened Beings. That is correct. We don't have answers here. We have experience. We don't have hatred here. We have compassion and tolerance for others. And that's one of the things I wanted to mention was, unfortunately, I received a letter this week from someone who was pretty frustrated, and they had some pretty mean things to say about me. which was sad, which made me sad. And we had really tried to help them understand, we mean being me and the nature creature team. But some people just are bound and determined to remain bitter and angry, and that's okay. But we frustrate folks like that here because we take on a positive outlook, and we don't see right now the Great Awakening as a big doom tribulation thing. We see it as the renewal of the human species, the renewal of the human mind, the renewal of a new understanding of oneself. And so some people are ready for that, and some people aren't. And the folks that are not ready to awaken, and they're not ready for the Great Awakening, will let you know. They will let you know that they don't have any time for any other dialogue. So because I don't say the things that other people want to hear out of my mouth, I say what I want to say. Eventually, as an autodidact, I eventually upset somebody. So this last week, we lost an important person in the chat. I didn't block them or anything, but they were quite angry. And it's okay. It's okay. It's going to happen as we grow. But what we all got to remember here, guys, is that we are a growing group. And the values, or I should say the foundation of Nature Creature, when it was a small little group, you know, there was just about 10 people in Zoom. And our live was about 35 people. And now that sometimes we top 500 in our live, even get to 1,000 from time to time, and now our Zoom is good 40 to 50 people, it's a different vibe than it was. And you have to have tolerance to know that as we grow as a group, there's going to be dynamic changes that happen. And you're also going to attract some yahoos that are going to come in and try and break up the group and say mean things. And we, as the Nature Creature family, have to step up and increase our tolerance and long-suffering and be willing to walk with people and encourage them to think differently about themselves and to not be a doomer. And so this is just part of the way that us wounded healers go about life and go about our things, is in this kind of attitude. Yeah. Hi, Gal. Some of us see both sides, and it's okay. Always learning movie. Exactly. What do we got here? You know, in many ways it's true, Daniel, because waking up is for adults. It's for adults. We're doing adulting here, and adults learn to handle cognitive dissonance. Adults learn to respect one another and respect themselves, and adults have adult conversations, and adult conversations involve subjects that you may not like or that you may not agree with. And part of being an adult is hearing those. Accepting that doesn't mean you have to believe it, but it certainly means you need the tolerance to stay in the space, my God, and to not call people names because they don't think like you. I mean, why would you want a world of people that think like you? Do you really want a world of Chucks or Jennies or Franks or Jims or Sallys? That's all you get? No. Our variety is what makes us beautiful. Our variety is what makes us beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, the sad part was this person that was in chat that got offended was a really great person. I interacted with him every week. And just all of a sudden, I mean, they started calling me a white supremacist, a racist. I mean, you can't believe what this person was saying to me. And I just had said to them, I left them a voice message telling them how much I loved them and cared about them. I'm sorry that they're offended, that we're working on it. We're trying to help people that are frustrated. And by God, 2 or 3 days later, I get this scathing letter and just letting me have it. And I'm like, I mean, at some point, man, at some point, you got to be big enough to have someone else share an opinion you don't agree with and to not chastise them and throw them down and call them an idiot. I mean, at some point, you got to grow up if you want to wake up. You got to learn to be able to be in spaces that you're not comfortable. This is called being an adult. You know, you're not going to transcend into the Great Awakening if you're still crying because somebody doesn't believe in the God that you do. I mean, if you're that small in your overall mental faculty that anyone that doesn't believe in the name of the God and in the God and the religion that you do is somehow less than going to hell or can't know God. I mean, how awakened are you? Honestly, you know? So yeah. Here we are. You bet. You bet. This is the Great Awakening, folks. This is the Great Awakening. And it's not about any one religion. It's not about any one person. It's not about any one belief. It's not about any savior. No one's coming to save you. It's not about any one group that's going to come over the hill and save you. Here comes the cavalry. Knock that nonsense off. You know, it was interesting this week. I read a post from Archaics. I think he posted it today, actually. I was going through some of that this morning. And it was really interesting to hear what he had to say. You ought to go check out his X page. And he listed out all the quote unquote beliefs or convictions that he has. And it was a very interesting read. And one of the things that I noticed that he's got a really strong opinion about is that I think around 2040 or so, there's supposed to be some kind of Phoenix event that, in his opinion, also ties into the Mayan calendar. I think it's 2046, that there's supposed to be, I don't know if it's another planet or another energy, another species, something alien or something, that comes in. This is according to Archaics, and it's going to change the orbit of the planet, and it's going to change the seasons, and it's going to be a big cataclysm. Now, I respect Jason, and I'm not questioning what he's saying here. It's totally fine for him to hold that opinion. That's great. You know, I'm sure Jason doesn't expect everyone to believe him, but Jason certainly should be convicted in his studies and what he's uncovered. Full respect, 100%. But here's the and the reason why love this shout out thing spoke to me. But here's the thing. In my opinion, here's the big chasm between me and most people that are on YouTube and X and stuff. The difference is that I am under a very strong conviction that we as a human species and society, in other words, each individual, has a really big say, follow now, a really big say in what happens. A really big say. Because I am under the crazy idea that the future is not set. Okay? It's one of the things you're going to find out about me. I don't believe in the idea of a plan. Now, I believe in the concept of a field of opportunity. And I believe that the field of opportunity called living life, there is room for what is called free will. And free will is a gift. It's a gift to you. Only you can give that away. Okay? No one can take your free will from you. You give it away. That's the way you lose your free will. It's called your sovereignty. Okay? And only you can give that away. Okay? So when you say that the world is a wonder, and then you subscribe to the idea that there's a plan, and that the world's going to end in 2046, well, you no longer can say that you think the world is a wonder because you think it's under a plan. Do you see? So you can't approach the world and your ontology thinking it's a wonder, it's amazing, that what you think is what the world becomes, because if you think there's a plan, if you think there's an unstoppable pattern, well, then you're not in a free will. You're not in a free will universe. You're in a plan. You're controlled. Okay? Now, I subscribe that we have been very limited and controlled in our free will, yet through egregores, we have given up our free will. And it is my crazy idea here. And here's the big nugget. It's my crazy idea that because we are entering into the Great Awakening, there is opportunity there, free will, that hasn't been there for a very long time because of the pinch of 3 and 4D of all the 7D consciousness that's occurring. And here's my crazy idea, we have the unique opportunity to determine our own future. And if you Follow, folks. Follow the philosophy. Think deeply here. Concentrate. If you really believe that you have a free will, and you really believe that this is a free collective in the etheric sense, you can't subscribe to that and remain congruent if you think then we're also in a plan, a doomsday, that whatever it is in 2046 that's coming can't be stopped. And nothing you can do, if you subscribe to plan, nothing you can do can stop it. In other words, you're not in a free will. You're not in a free space. You're going down. Follow? So I am of the notion that we are in a holistic universe. And that means that universe is balanced. It doesn't mean it's fair, but it means it's balanced, which means for all the good there is, there's just as much evil. And my rub is that we, as creative capacity beings, right? Well, creativity requires free will, does it not? And if we are creative capacity, free-willed, sovereign beings, how can you align that? Please follow. How can you align that to a plan? To a destiny that can't be changed. And so this is what nature creatures doing, is we are a part of what it takes to access that opportunity that's coming. In other words, if you want to access the Great Awakening, you yourself will have to do the homework of releasing from your assumption. Then you access the Great Awakening. Now, if we want to access as a collective our free will, well, friend, there's some responsibility that goes with that. There's some meriting involved. And so we merit the Great Awakening. In other words, if the population doesn't wake up, then by God, then that's exactly what's going to happen, is what archaics and the Mayans and all these ancient societies predicted. That's what's going to happen. Because the society has to regain their free will, which means people have to take ownership of their own life. They have to take on self-responsibility. Can you believe that? You have to take on self-responsibility to enter the Great Awakening. Can you believe that? In other words, don't be asking for a savior. That's not responsible. The responsible approach here is self-responsibility, not giving your sovereignty away, not praying and asking, hey, come and save me, God. Hey, come and save me, Allah, Jesus, Yahweh. Because ain't nobody coming to save you. You're in a meriting society. You're in a merited world. And so this is the very deep, very large picture that we are approaching here, that I am attempting in nature creature, is to instigate. Here's this great word I have: to evoke out of each individual and the collective this crazy idea that we are going to control our own future. That if we simply have the courage to take back our sovereignty, that we will then again we will merit the free will that is required to grow. And so, in my opinion, I really appreciate the work of people like Jason and people who are really doing the research. I love it. We need people like that. Absolutely. But if we're all just researching the past and then predicting the future and just saying, well, here it comes. Ain't nothing you can do about it. 2040, 2046, here it comes. Then you've given up at that point. In my opinion, you've taken all that research and education that you spent your freaking entire life. I'm saying the general populace. I'm not pointing out Jason. I'm saying that you spent your entire life accessing, and you're then resigning to it. Why? You're a free-willed creature. You don't have to fall into the patterns of the societies that lived before us. You don't have to fall into the cataclysm that they did. You can change the world. You can change the future. It's called self-identity. It's called self-responsibility. It's called changing the world by thinking of it differently, because the world becomes what you think. So this is the big, big picture that I am attempting, that we are attempting here at Nature Creature, is a setting, a field, here we go again, a field that isn't destined for the phoenix, constantly the same doom that has happened time and time again. And this is where I completely agree with Jason. I think that we have been doing exactly what he's been saying, that we've been going through these cycles, cataclysms, mud floods, destructions, alien interventions, genetic modifications. I mean, yeah. And what makes it different now is this change in vibration from the black hole. It's the end of the Kali Yuga. We're moving into a human emergence, if you want it, if you merit it. But if you don't merit it, if we don't do the work now to self-identify and to form collectives, groups of people that are thinking like this, then there's no hope. There's no hope. Because everyone then, if that's the case, then resigns, and nature gives you what you want. And if you resign to being destroyed in 2040, if you resign to, well, that's what's going to happen, bummer Bob, then you've given away your free will. You've turned over your sovereignty to the controllers, the people, the assumptions that you have in your life. You haven't left the doors of opportunity, the doors of perception open, the field open for you, so that you can have a different future. Because you only reinforce it and lock it down when you predict. It's another reason why I stopped doing tarot. When you try and predict what's coming, you're locking in, you're putting your vibration into, you're succumbing, you're getting on your knees and bowing to what you have studied in the past. And you're just applique, sticking on your assumptions, your most definitely your will, your sovereignty. And do you see how then you absolutely deserve it? Do you see that? You absolutely deserve to be totally destroyed and annihilated if right now in your free will you say, well, it's coming. Doom is coming. What you gonna do? All the evidence shows it. You're a fool not to believe it. You see? Then you merit that destruction. You're saying, I give you permission. Let me fall down on my knees. In fact, let me get on my face and prostrate myself. Give up my humanity, my humaneness completely by my own free will. Now this, friend, is the bigger picture. This is the bigger picture. And if you are operating on a smaller picture than that, you will succumb. You will succumb to the smaller picture, just like a Christian succumbs to the smaller spirituality in that religion. Same with the Islamist. You succumb. You give away your sovereignty. You give away your free will. See? There it is. Self-determination. Exactly. Exactly. That's why every week with you guys, I encourage all of you to think differently, to not give away your sovereignty, to not give away your future to a past. That's called fear. And if you live in fear and you embrace fear, guess what? You have just merited a fear-based life. And guess what a fear-based life has in it? A doomed destiny. Goes hand in hand with a fear-based ontology. Do you see? Okay, do we got any questions? Stacy, feel free to go to banners for a minute and I'll talk to banners for a sec. Yeah, no fear, exactly. Exactly right, Scooter. And if you want to pick out a question, Stacy, let me know. And then we'll get going. Do you believe in the soul trap? Well, we talked about that last week. And yeah, we've had a soul trap for quite some time, but I, in my opinion, it's breaking up. It's breaking up because of the awakening, because we have free will, and that cannot be denied. This is what you got to understand. That cannot be denied. Only you relinquish your free will. And so part of the breaking apart of the soul trap is us, the collective, recapturing our future, meaning to move out of 3D to 5D, to not be caught in the 4D soul trap that has kept us here. So to answer your question, I believe it's breaking up, and I believe that right now we have, for the first time in the human collective history, the opportunity to leave. Great question. Bill, hey, what's up, Bill? Hi, Chuck. Young Earth creationism or Carl Jung creationism? Well, I'm not a young Earth by any stretch of the imagination. I subscribe to the idea that the Earth has been around for millions and millions, possibly billions of years. And I think that it's gone through many changes. I think, the universe is a rough place, man. It's a rough go. And so I think, look at the Earth. She's got scars all over her. She's got stretch marks all over her. Just look around her in the struggle that she's been in being a part and parcel of us. We are one in the same with the Earth. We are composed of her body, as Dr. Campbell showed us. We are composed of her body. And so therefore, yeah, all of that history and scarring is also part of ours, even though we've only been here, in my opinion, about 300,000 years. I'm not real familiar with Carl Jung creationism. If you want to familiarize it with me better, I'm happy to hear it. Here I am at the channel y'all recognize. Nice. Do we need to go to, do you guys want to get started on lecture? I can talk on Rife machines. I got an opener on Rife machines. You guys want to talk about Rife machines? I know she's beautiful. She's a big, beautiful girl. Nice and curvy. I love her. Here. How about that 80% that doesn't have the capacity? How does that eventually tie into the awakening of the collective? I have a hard time with it. Yeah, they're not going to awaken, Marlowe's. I'm sorry. They don't have the capacity to do what's necessary. It's like if you want to slam dunk the basketball, well, unless you got a high enough vertical jump and the ability, you're just not gonna be able to get that ball in the basket. Meaning slam it in with your hand. You're never gonna get to that. What is it? 10.5 feet. You're never gonna get that 10.5 feet to slam the ball in. You don't have it. You don't have the height. You don't have the vertical leap. You just don't have it. And so think of it the same. It's nothing against you. It's just, that's it. And so, if I can't fit into a suit that's built for a dude that's 7 feet tall, I don't got the height. It's not there. And so the 80% capacity thing is that 80% of the population simply can't awaken. They can get concepts. If I were to teach you, say, calculus, and you never took algebra, you never took geometry, and I tried to teach you calculus, you would get some of the concepts, but you would never understand the core, the fundamental of calculus. Okay? You might get a grasp of it and see it and kind of say, okay, I can kind of see what's going on. But to really, really embrace and master it, you see, you must have the building blocks that compose it. Now think of the human consciousness in the same way. Same way. If you don't have the capacity to cognize a spirituality that's past being a bot, that's past being a believer, that's past the base elements, you see, you're not going to be able to realize the spiritual depth necessary to align or amalgamate with the bar that's required to graduate. It's nothing offensive. It's actually a tragedy, because the vast majority, well over 50%, it may not be 80, it might be 80, but well over 50, half the world, people literally don't even have the spiritual capacity. And folks, you talk to folks like this all the time. You talk to folks like this all the time. When you try to share with them and render to them a larger concept, and they just can't, it's just not there. And say for years you've tried, and there's not, it's just not there. The capacity is just not there. Well, then they're not going to be a part of the awakening of transcending out of the 3D. It's not there. And so they'll either come back here, or they'll go to another place where hopefully they will gather, develop over time the capacity necessary to graduate. Folks, nature is a meriting system. We are in a meriting world. Nothing is handed to you. You don't automatically go and graduate. That's not how it works. You must put in effort. You must be self-responsible. You must do the work. You must do the homework. You must do the meditation. You must endure the suffering. You must not give up. Because if you give up, if you don't endure, if you end up bitter and angry and a prick, you didn't learn the lesson. You have not merited graduation. I don't know what to tell you. If you refuse to leave your religion and you refuse to leave the belief system that you're in, and you flat deny anything that comes forward as a bigger picture, folks, you don't deserve to graduate. You don't deserve to graduate. If you're in college and you hire out someone else to do your tests, you hire out someone to go to classes for you and check your name as there, have you merited that degree? No, you don't deserve it. And it's the same thing in life. If you're going to give your sovereignty away, if you're going to hand your brain to the catechism, right? If you're just going to fall into atheism and live in denial and reductionism of the larger spiritual world, then by God, you don't deserve to graduate. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve to know a larger concept. You haven't merited it. It's like a person who claims to have the meriting of a soldier and they've never been to war, or they've never been to military. They haven't merited to say the statement, I served the military. You have to go do it. You got to go in and give your life away. You got to go do it. And then you've merited it. You've graduated. You've merited the ability to graduate because you did it. Spirituality is no different. You've been sold a con from the West that says, oh, all you got to do is say the magic words, think the magic thoughts. All done. All done. Why did I just drop out? You said the magic words. You said the magic words. And as long as you say the magic words, believe the right thought, believe the right God, all done. Person hasn't merited jack squat. What do you say? What do you say? So yeah, great stuff. Let's get on to the Rife machines. So what I did was, here I'll turn off these comments for the moment. Media assets. Sorry, banners. No comments here. Right on. Okay, now let's go here to the Rife machines. Add to stage. Okay, now here, move add to stage. Okay, so what I'm going to do here real quickly, we're going to go through the Rife machine. I'm going to tell you a few things about it because there's a lot of folks that weren't here Wednesday. I'm not going to do a big thing on it. I'm just going to show you a little history. And the reason why I'm doing this is because there is a person who has invented a Rife machine that actually creates the plasma ball, and that actually may be viable for some of you that have serious diseases. Now, I'm not a salesman. I haven't signed up with anything. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm saying, as a person who has compassion, because I had cancer and I know what it's like to feel and to be in the experience of feeling like you're dying, like something is eating you. You're looking for hope. Okay, I know that feeling. I've been there. I know what it's like. And so my telling you about the Rife machines tonight is not to get a sale, is not to, like, you know, sell something. It is to help you understand that there are opportunities for you. There are viable sciences that the Western medical system doesn't embrace. Okay, we can all agree on that. And so there are some sciences out there that have been kept from the public. Rife machines are one of them. And so tonight I'm going to help you understand how they work, and then you decide for yourself what you want to do. Okay, I'm not even going to give you a website to make sure you know I'm not under some kind of contract, and I'm not trying to sell you a machine. I'm honestly doing this for your benefit. You do what you want. But I'm going to tell you about this technology, and this is great stuff, because this is what I did basically in naturopathy. Okay. Here's the scientist. That's him. Royal Raymond Rife originated the core idea behind what are now called Rife machines. He was an American inventor, optical engineer, and a self-taught microbiologist. Those are always the best ones. The autodidacts are always a good bet. Who developed high-powered microscopes in the 1920s and 30s. Now think about this, guys. This is in the 30s. And claimed to observe live microorganisms, including what he called the BX virus associated with cancer, under conditions that conventional light microscopy could not achieve. From those observations, he formulated a central concept. Every microorganism has a unique mortal oscillatory rate, a specific electromagnetic frequency that, when applied externally, now this is the tech right here, causes the organism to shatter or die through resonance, analogous to a crystal glass breaking when exposed to this resonant tone. And what he's saying here is, and what the Rife machine is it's basically using electromagnetics to destroy pathogenic bacteria in the body. Here's a video of it doing it. Here. Okay, now these are live pathogenic bacteria that are going to be exposed to this technology, this Rife technology. And what I want you to watch is watch them start to explode. They start to just ooze out all their guts as they, as the resonant frequency cracks open the shell. There's one right there at the top. See it blowing out? There's one on the right there. See it just blew out? There's one in the top middle that just blew out. See their guts coming out? Their guts are coming out of their bodies. All of them are going to end up like that. All these middle ones, they're all going to stop, and then you're going to see their guts come out. And that is literally, this is what the machine does. And it doesn't harm healthy organisms in your body, because healthy organisms in your body have a very different resonant frequency, a very different electromagnetic signature that doesn't resonate. See, they're all dead. Look at them dying. That one right there, it's wiggling, that they're all going to die. Watch. It's just going to ooze. The guts are going to come out of it. Watch. Watch, here it goes. Blush. There it goes. There's the one on the bottom. See? Guts just came out of that one. See them coming out? Here it is up close. There it is. Blah. And that's all the guts pouring out. Okay? So this is what the machine does. Okay? So the machine, stop that. So the machine sends or emits, radiates an electromagnetic frequency that causes the shell around the bacteria to break, like a glass breaks, like you saw in those commercials when they were advertising I don't remember what it was, but some kind of sound frequency, and the wine glass would begin to resonate as the audio frequency was played louder and louder, and then eventually the glass exploded. It's because the molecules that compose the glass began to vibrate so violently that they broke apart. It broke the bonds. It broke the atomic bonds that's holding the glass in place. And think of the same thing with your cells. This radiation that comes out, not nuclear radiation, but this radiation of frequency that comes out of the orb causes the shell to crack, just like the glass cracks on the wine glass. Okay, let's get into it now. That's what that MOR rate, that's the oscillatory rate that causes the shell to break open, and you saw it. Now, Royal Rife died at age 83. This is so tragic. In the San Diego area, official records and contemporary obituaries list the cause as a heart attack, myocardial infarction. He was buried at Mount Hope Cemetery in San Diego. By the end of his life, he was living in reduced circumstances. This is so sad. Described in an obituary as penniless and embittered by the lack of scientific acceptance of his work. The next parts I'm going to read are going to show you how not only that the U.S. government is so corrupt, but that the American Medical Association is corrupt. He attributed the rejection of his claims to a conspiracy theory involving the American Medical Association and the Department of Public Health and other parts of organized medicine. Later accounts, including some alternative sources, link his final years to alcoholism in a few versions, a combination of alcohol and Valium after an accident or during hospitalization, though the primary reported cause remains cardiac. Pro tip, cover-ups are messy, are they not? Listen to this. This is so tragic. In 1938 to 39, Beam Rays Incorporated collapsed. This is what eventually put him into the Deep Depression, was just the systematic shutdown by the governmental institutions. The commercial company formed to produce his frequency instruments, the Beam Ray clinical machines, faced internal disputes. Partner Philip Hoyland sued over stock issues and contracts with the British group. Although the company largely prevailed in court, the legal costs bankrupted it. Rife's business operations were effectively ended. They just bankrupt you. That's all they bankrupt you. 1940s losses. Dr. Milbank Johnson, a major financial supporter, died in 44. In 46, Rife's laboratory in Point Loma, San Diego, it burned. Lo and behold, isn't that amazing? Burned. Pro-Rife accounts describe the fire as arson or sabotage. You don't say. You don't say. And claim it was destroyed. It destroyed research notes, frequency records, microscopes, and prototypes. Official reports noted arson or sabotage as possible causes. And folks, this is MO for the KM. They did it in Alexandria. They do it with the voting data currently. Think of the Clinton body bag count. It's all the same. They use death and fraud to make their moves. 1950 to 60s, Rife worked intermittently with John Crane and John Marsh on later frequency instruments. Crane and Associates faced legal action for selling unapproved medical devices. I mean, the AMA can get you. The AMA, every which way but loose. Crane served prison time. Rife himself largely withdrew from public activity, lived quietly, including involvement with the Baha'i faith, and remarried. He spent his final decades alienated in relative obscurity and financially destitute. Do you see the parallels between him and Tesla? See the parallels? And what was really interesting and why they couldn't let this machine out is that it's extremely effective. Folks, this concept that he was using back in the 30s is the same concept that naturopathy is still using. You ingest elixirs made from plants to do the same thing that's happening underneath that microscope. It's the same concept. So you need to understand, this isn't new. This isn't anything new. This is 100-year-old technology. This isn't new. And this guy was on it. And notice you can't find these machines, and the only people that sell these machines have been completely rejected by all the healing institutions in the United States. Okay, we'll keep going. I got this. I got more for you. Now, this is the machine back in the 30s. This is how you check up on me. Go to these videos here, and you can read it and see for yourself. Now, what I want you to see here, this is in the 30s. This is machine number 3. Now, that right there in the middle at the bottom, you see that glass orb? That's the vacuum chamber. I'm going to explain to you how it works here in a minute. That's the vacuum chamber. And all of those dials and knobs are to hone in the correct frequency so that you find the frequency that causes the bacterial shells to resonate and explode. And so through different electrical settings and different, potentiometer settings that are on this machine, you dial in. You dial in. This is what you have to do with these Rife machines. This is what's so important for them to be most effective. You have to dial in the frequency that is the known frequency that destroys that bacteria. And so one of the groups that I'm going to show you has a booklet that has listed the work of Dr. Rife because they systematically found frequencies that matched specific cancers that this machine destroyed. Okay, moving on. This is him. This is machine number 4. This is early 40s. Now you can see the old machine in the back. This is what I want you to see. See the old machine in the back? And then the newer one that his hand is on. Notice how fewer dials there are. See, it's all streamlining. it's becoming contemporary. Moving on here. Look, you're just down now to just a few tubes and rectifiers, audio frequency generators. The one in the middle there is Russian. And there you can see the white tube with the glass plasma ball there in the center. Okay, so check this out. So what you do is you send an audio frequency carrier, and then within that is a radio frequency that is the trigger that ignites the argon gas or whatever gas you have in the glass tube to bring about the resonation. So in other words, what you're doing is you're putting a high frequency, high amplitude charge, voltage, into a vacuum space that's filled with argon or some kind of noble gas, very stable gas. The noble gases, I think there's 7 or 8 of them. The noble gases are very, very stable. They have electrons to give and electrons to take. They're very stable. So you put a noble gas in there, it has ions to give. And so when you shoot or when you direct the voltage into that space, you resonate those ions, you resonate those molecules that compose the argon. And as those molecules resonate, they give off ionize. They give off electrons that are at a specific frequency from the frequency I put in there from the radio frequency. My radio frequency is my kickoff. That's my fulcrum. And then from my radio frequency, my RF, I then tune how I'm going to hit that argon, those argon molecules. And based on my tuning frequency determines the aura, the charge, the frequency that the ions carry. And as those ions leave that aura, that plasma, as they leave that space, they're on a specific frequency. They're tuned like a tuning fork. And that frequency carries right through your body. These are frequencies that go right through your skin. Your skin doesn't do anything to them. Okay, go right through. And when you bring that tube right here, that thing right there, that glowing orb on the right-hand side, right there, that container that he's pointing at right now, the dude on the right that's pointing at, that's it. And that orb, that gizmo is emitting these ionic frequencies. And when those ions, those frequencies, those waves hit the bacteria, causes the bacteria to explode. I showed you the video. This is the technology. And my friend. Okay, now that's from the 1960s, okay? Last machines, I mean, look how simplified they are. Okay, so they went from this, right? Went from this to this. Okay? Now you can buy this machine. There's a dude, a scientist. I don't know him, never met him, never wrote him, never interacted with him. But he actually makes the plasma generator. He actually makes a replica of the original Rife design. Now, I don't know. You'll have to do your own research. But I have a person that is in Zoom that has bought a lesser model that doesn't have the aura, the glow, that has had some success. But if you want to access the real, like, optimum availability of what that machine does, you've got to have that glowing plasma ball, because that means it's radiating the ions, and it is the ions from the plasma ball that do the most devastating work against the cancer cells. It is so important that if you want the full effect, the proper effect, you have to have a plasma ball, because that's the only thing that's going to generate the electromagnetics. It's electromagnetic frequencies that seize those cells, resonate them, and explode them. And the only way you can fully access the potential of the electromagnetics to heal you with this machine is if it has a plasma ball that's emitting. That's emitting. If the machine that you have doesn't have a plasma ball, you're not at the potential, the healing potential level that's necessary to reach the levels that Royal Rife was reaching in the 30s and 40s. I just simply wanted to tell you guys about this so that you knew. So that if you're sick or you have a problem, you can read up on it, do your own research, find the website. I'm not giving you any websites because I'm going to make sure you guys know I'm not being paid to do this. I'm doing this because I love you guys and I care. That's why I'm doing this. I genuinely care. If I had cancer, I would buy the machine, just so that you know. Well, I would find one. I don't know if it would be that one, but I would find one that was the best one I could find, and I'd try it if it were me. If it were me. So just for what it's worth, can I show the machine again? Yes, that's the machine. You can do your own research. You can go to this place on your own. I'm not going to endorse anyone. I'm not going to say anything good or bad. I'm just saying that there are people in this world that our government hates, that will not license and will not allow these people to legitimize themselves, but yet they have still developed the technology and they're actually selling it for a reasonable price. I mean, being able to get something like that for $3,000 is actually quite incredible, especially because the use never ends. You can heal your friends, you can heal family. Like you could become a healer with this thing if you can find the frequencies that fight those diseases. And I'm just saying, you know, it's available. The technology is available, and there it is. Yeah? Yeah, research it. Research it. Research it. Thanks, Carson. I'm not selling them, but go there and buy one. Help yourself. Or wherever it is that you get them. Here's one. Here's one. I have 4 spooky 2 generators. Mainly use them as ongoing maintenance of frequencies regarding. I'm wondering, S-Web, do you have the one that has the actual plasma ball? Because to me, that would be essential. Yeah, they've had success with that. Yeah, they've had success with that. There is something about it's like, listen, think of it this way, biker chick. If you heard some really soothing or music that really resonated with you well, your neuro automatically relaxes, you get into the groove, and you're feeling good, right? So just acoustic sound has effect on your neuros, on your neurology, right? So this is getting into electromagnetic bombardment in a positive way. So it would almost be like getting an all-over body massage, I would imagine. And that is going to help in your neuro, for sure. Okay. That as yet. Okay. I'll be curious. Does anyone in chat have one of those machines? I'd be genuinely curious if it's worked for you or not. Be genuinely curious. Okay. A couple of questions from banners and we're going to get started on Zen. What time is it? Oh shit. It's already been an hour. Okay. We got to get going. Let's get to banners. And Stacy, if you want to hop into there and start shooting some banners at me, I'll start answering some questions if I can. Hi, Marlos. I understand the capacity concept, Chuck. It's understood. But how can we have a collective great awakening then from those that have the capacity? Isn't it instead a not so great awakening? No, because there is great power in the individual who becomes a light. And the individual, think of it this way, the individual who is shining a light of awareness and consciousness has a tremendous more access to power and potential than the one who has given up, turned over their sovereignty, and is at home praying all day for someone to come save them. The one that is carrying the light, shining the light, and participating in the group and collective is carrying and entertaining and bringing about and evoking a greater power than the person that's sitting at home, prostrate, waiting for someone to come save them. And so even though there's a very small percentage of people who are the true lights in the world, they have a much greater power than the folks who have just given up, turned in their sovereignty, and handed their brain to the catechism. And so those people, the lights, the ones that are light carriers and haven't given up their sovereignty, they will form collective groups. And from those groups, great power and influence is exerted and more people awaken because light is contagious. In case you noticed, it spreads really fast when you turn it on in a room. It's extremely contagious. And so when you turn on a light, meaning you turn on the mind, the understanding, the spirit of an individual, and the holism comes out, the whole human comes out, that is an unstoppable power that is much more powerful than the person who's sitting at home praying. Much more powerful, because this person is out in the field doing it. This person is doing the homework. This person is spreading what they know into the world and sharing that with the world under no conditions, under no threats, because they've awakened. The person who's awakened never has to threat to make a point. The person who hasn't awakened will always be threatening you to make a point. That's one of the key ways you know if a person is woken up or not. If they're sitting there threatening you, if they're sitting there telling you that you're an idiot, if they're sitting there saying that you're a moron for not thinking like them, just realize just how awakened is this individual. That's why the letter I got, the scathing letter I got this week from this individual who really let me have it, it helped me realize where they're at in their mindset and their awakening. And that obviously they're a very small-minded, small world individual for allowing someone else to make them that angry. Because when someone else makes you angry, you're under control. They're controlling it. So when you give that away, you see, you're giving away your life. When you get angry, go off, flying off the handle and everything. You see? And so it's the people who have a higher capacity, who are resonating on a higher plane, who are in the nonplussed state, who are going to be a part of the collective awakening that will basically be a part of the society saving itself. And this is how it happens, one individual at a time. And so the only way we're going to have a great awakening that's conducive to those that have awakened is if those who have awakened spread the good news, quote unquote, spread the word, awaken the world, so that we can merit it. Good. One more question, and then we'll go to Zen. One more question. Hi, DSMS. New for VJ. A theory verified that you try to be good and do good, but immediately confronted with negative force to stop you in efforts and makes you do the opposite. How to break through. Yeah, no matter what, this reminds me of Hero's Journey. No matter what, when you start on the hero's journey, you're going to have resistance, even though your decision is a good one. Even though the right thing to do is to leave the poisonous situation that you're in, that doesn't mean that because you've left the poisonous situation that you're in, that now everything's going to be hunky-dory. In fact, it very well may likely be the case that it will get worse initially. That's what happened to me when I fought cancer. That's what happened to me when I moved to Washington. It got worse. I made the right decision, and then my life got worse. And I had to endure that worseness in order to realize the benefit. Do you see? It's a long go. It's a long go. So understand that just because you make a good decision or quote unquote the right decision doesn't mean that now your life is just going to be smooth sailing. I would definitely expect that if you're making a major decision or change in your life, that your life's going to become total hell for probably years. That's the cost. You can't leave a life of poison and being poisoned yourself clean. It's like trying to get through childhood clean. Nobody does. Everyone gets abused. Everyone gets beat up. Everyone gets taken advantage of. That's called being a kid. You have to endure that. You merit your life. Here we go again. You merit your life in this world. You merit your life. You're going to have to overcome your adversity if you're ever going to get anywhere, because you're not going to get anywhere casually. You're going to have to overcome adversity to get somewhere, because truth, knowledge is merited. Nature does not hand out the goods to the unworthy. Trust me. She doesn't. You only get the goods when you go risk, when you put yourself on the line. Then you have access to the goods if you follow through and complete the journey. But if you don't follow through and don't complete the journey, you ain't getting the goods, no matter how much you suffered. You must learn your lesson. If you don't learn your lesson, you're going to go right back and be going through the same thing again. Yeah? I'm all about self-responsible behavior. Let's go to, speaking of which, let's go to Zen. Let's go to Zen. Media assets. Let's turn off. Oh, yeah, we'll leave that on. That's fine. So let's talk about Zen. Add to stage. Kind of a memorial moment here, folks. This is the last slide you'll ever see of Zen. I'm not going to do the series ever again. And so it's kind of a nostalgic moment for us as we see the last of the slide that was basically the headline for this channel for the better part of 6 months, a year even, pretty close about. So let's see, 30 weeks, 52 weeks in a year. So yeah, the better part of 2/3 of a year-ish. Very good. So tonight we're looking at art together, which is going to be awesome. I love looking at art with you. And we're going to begin right here with this Zen piece. Now we already can begin to learn with my first question, which is, this is a painting or a drawing called Fisherman. And one of the first things I want you to notice is, where are the fishermen? This is one of the things I love about Zen, is it's always hidden. The truth, the message is always hidden, okay? This is one of the first things to know about Zen artwork. It's exactly the same as the verbal teachings. And it is the essence of Zen, but delivered through pictures. That's why it's so great to study it. It's another way of learning Zen. So what you notice is there's no focus on the fisherman, even though the painting is named Fisherman. And why is that? Why are the fishermen not pronounced in the piece? Because the piece, Zen artwork, the emphasis is nature, not the human being. So since the human being is a nature creature, the best way to emphasize the human being in Zen artwork is to bring about a fisherman that is a part of nature. And so meaning a part of, meaning part and parcel with. And so just like a mountain is one aspect of that painting, you can see the mountains, each one has a little aspect. You see the fisherman there in the middle, he's also one aspect, but there's nothing special. This is the key point here. Nothing special. Nothing special. Now, if you saw a painting called The Fisherman in America, it would be a close-up of the fisherman fishing, right? But you see a painting in Zen that's called Fisherman, the last thing in the world is you're going to see is the fisherman, because the emphasis for the Zen artist is not the human, it's not the fisherman, it's nature. Nature is the focus. And so just like in the verbal, we refer to the natural way a person takes, the natural way they see the world. And this is emphasized in order to bring in the wonder and glory relative to the individual themselves. You see, and the painting is doing that exact same exercise, but it's doing it just with art, quote unquote, just. Okay, now let's study together. Here are more paintings. Now, as you look at these, what I want you to do is I want you just to begin to think about what is their common theme. Here's my first question. What is the emphasis of these paintings? Let's turn on the chat. Let's see if any of you guys name something. What is the emphasis of these paintings? Hi, Verbal, you are incorrigible. I love it. Okay. What is the emphasis? Can you name it? Shape. Good. Okay. Boom! Clueless! Look at Clueless! Look at that! Wow, dude. Check out the next slide. Clueless, buddy. Nicely done, brother. Nicely done. Wow. I am so impressed, dude. Well done, Clueless. Well done. Yes, nature is the emphasis, and this is brilliant. Wow, Clueless. I am so freaking impressed. Yes. Now, the emphasis is nature, and so what is being emphasized is the natural world. Zen is always attempting to encourage the individual to experience the world exactly as it is. No denial, no subframe, exactly as it is. And to find the glory and beauty and majesty as well as yourself in that beauty. And so what these Zen paintings are attempting to do is to render you. Do you see? They're going to render your truth, because your truth is a nature creature. Your truth is at your nature. And so by emulating nature in the paintings, right, it is emulating your truth. It is emulating who you are. You are a nature creature. And the paintings want to show us, what is the common theme? What is the common theme? Any ideas? What is the common theme? Love is good. That's a good answer. It's a good answer. There'll be many, guys, these are subjective. These are subjective. It's okay. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just we're cluing into the same mindset. That's why Clueless's answer was just so freaking brilliant. Nailed it. Stillness is another good one. Stillness, this will refer to the human being in the nonplussed state. They're still, right? Union is another good one. The good one. Yes, the theme is nature. Yes, ties together. Yes. Okay. Growth is good. You guys are good. I like you guys. You guys are good class. Asymmetry. How about that? Now, how does asymmetry in nature tie into the human being? How does it tie in? How does it tie in? How does nature and asymmetry tie in? Your imperfections are perfection. Look, these paintings, none of them are balanced in the sense of weight on each side. In other words, they're imperfect when it comes to symmetry. Okay? This is so beautiful. And this is you. You are a whole being, right? But you're asymmetrical. So you're still balanced, but you're asymmetrical. And look at these paintings. This is what it's emulating. Look at the vertical imbalance of the persimmons. Okay? Totally imbalanced. But you see the asymmetrical aspect of it brings out the natural. Look at the same with the Fisherman. The whole top of the painting is weighted and the bottom is much less weighted. We're going to get into that in a minute. I'm going to open this up for you guys. It's exciting. We're talking about art. Okay, so how is human emphasis and theme characterized in the paintings? By the expression of nature and asymmetry. Now follow. Pro tip, the human emphasis and theme is characterized in the paintings through the non-exceptional. Now, this is the part that's going to get you. You're thinking, Chuck, non-exceptional, they're extremely exceptional. Wait. Are they? Are they exceptional? Are they? What is nature? Nature's asymmetry. What is the golden ratio? Asymmetry. Do you see? Nothing exceptional. Now, this is how you stop being taken by the world, but yet stand in reverence of its exceptionalness, is that you realize that all of nature is a novelty. There's nothing exceptional because the entire thing is exceptional. And by grounding yourself into that exceptionality, if there is such a word, do you see how then you also recognize yourself as exceptional, but not in a haughty or narcissistic way? This is the subtlety. This is the beauty of art coming out here. This is the beauty of art, because none of these paintings point towards themselves. They're pointing towards a bigger picture, and you, my friend, are to be the same way. Egoless. And one of the ways the paintings does this is through asymmetry. The movement of the painting. The flow of the painting. You can't catch it. You can't catch it. Okay, this is the Tao. This is flow. Now watch, I'm going to open this mother trucker up for you guys so big. Now look at this picture here. Look at this painting here. Oh, we're going. Now watch. Walking on an open path in spring. Now, so you see the asymmetry? Now watch. Let me open this up for you. This is balanced variation and asymmetry, which characterizes the nothingness, which is what nature does, right? Wu wei, a whole bunch of nothingness. In other words, a whole bunch of exceptional. And then that means all of it is exceptional, and therefore none of it is exceptional. Do you see? Emulates the Tao that is nature and the human life. Now watch this. I'm going to teach you something that John Jenberg taught me. And you can see how this emulates. So I'm so excited to open this up. Now we're going to divide this up into thirds. This is called the rule of thirds. This is one of the greatest things John Jenberg ever taught me in high school. This is called the rule of thirds. So this is just a handy dandy reminder when you're out taking pictures. One of the ways you can just improve your pictures in general is if, say, you're taking a picture of a horizon, put the horizon on either the top or the bottom third of the picture, and it will keep the picture from being chopped in half. And this brings about a dynamism that I'm going to walk into here with you right now, that the rule of thirds carries. Now, if you look at all these Zen paintings, they all carry out the rule of thirds idea. And right here in this one, we see the whole left side of the picture, the painting, is filled with detail. And the whole right side of the picture is empty of detail. This brings about action. because your eye follows the action of the painting subconsciously. This is how it opens up your emotions and you feel. The eye is pulled away from density, while density also attracts. This is the action, the reciprocal action of the painting as you look at it. And this makes you attracted to the painting because it's in flow. And as a nature creature, a flowing creature, you are attracted by other things that flow. This creates tension and flow. Tension seizes the heart, flow releases it. So the tension is you have this lopsided, quote unquote, painting you're looking at. And there's a tension, a natural tension that's developed because there's a lack of symmetry. The asymmetry brings about the tension. This is nature. This is beautiful, right? Brings about that tension. And that then creates the flow to release it. So the painting has both the tension within it, and it also carries the flow within it. Folks, just a picture of you. You are in a state of tension. You're in the state of being a material and a spiritual being. You're both. You are in a state of tension. And what is your life? Your life is a moving through those tensions, through the tension of being a 3D being, and through the tension or the etheric realm of the 4D. One is all concerned with the material world. One is all concerned with the spiritual world. And these two things are incongruent in many ways. There's natural tension, in other words, of just being alive. Just being alive. And how do we find peace? You guys know, how do we find peace? Flow. Being in the flow. The ball in the mountain spring. Thought to thought to thought to thought to thought to thought. No resistance, no stopping. Flow. So the way we deal with the tension is through the flow. So this is it. The painting is teaching you this. And so as we walk into and through and with the flow, the tension is released. And this is what this painting is doing. The heart is sensitive to dynamisms that come through the senses. Nature surrounds the individual and, in fact, is the individual. So through this uniting tensive flow, you are united with nature. Through this lack of balance, meaning through the asymmetry, you are united with the fact of the matter of what nature is. And what do we know about nature? Nature's a wave. It's dynamisms. It's compression, rarefaction. What is your life? It's a wave. It's an experience of positives and negative all through your life. That's called flow. And when you go with that flow, you release from the tension of the wave cycle that you're in naturally. This is what this art is attempting. This art is rendering this to you. Let's keep going. Now, what the art is showing you also is the yin and yang. Now look, can you see the yin and yang? You can immediately see the yin and yang in this painting now, can't you? So you have the yin, the dark or shady side of the river, and then the yang, the sunny side, right? And there is a movement between one and the other. And this chaos, darkness, clutter, death, unconsciousness, this is the yin. And then light, effortlessness, clarity, unity, consciousness is the yang. And what is the artist, or what is the protagonist in the painting, which is this gentleman here in the middle? Look at where he's walking towards. He's walking towards the yang. He's walking towards the light, but yet he is in the darkness. What is the story of your life? What is the story of your life? You are in the midst of challenges, right? And you are transcending those challenges by choosing to participate. What does that mean? I walk the path. I walk the road. I choose to participate. This is how I continue the flow in my physical life to match the flow in my spiritual life. Participation. Participation in the material world. Now look at his eyes. He's looking up, and within that is the seeing and experiencing of bliss, which is the natural world. But yet also the mind is emptiness. And you can see his mind here. I got another shot here of him closer here. See, I was looking up to the bird, which is bliss, the spirit, and flight, which the bird represents. And that's his focus. He's not concerned with the 3D world. His focus is flight, the spirit. And then also, remember always, the mind is emptiness. It's not real. So within the bliss is also the emptiness. And walking that is this human experience. The stagnancy and the flow. The experience of the fullness and bliss, the experience of emptiness. And again, it is the dynamisms that bring life to you, that give you a reason to live. And this is rendering it to you in this deeper concepts of this art. One of the heart sutra is the chant. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. What is the mind? The mind is emptiness. The mind creates forms from that emptiness, yet the forms are empty within the mind. Do you see the reciprocalness of it? Do you see how you need the mind for form, but yet the mind doesn't exist to realize form? This is rendering you the illusion that is life. This is the sort of the counterintuitive or the countermeasures that are in antithetical order in your life. And it is the experiencing of the bliss and the emptiness, the experiencing of the form and emptiness. This creates this idea of the heart chakra, the heart realizing the tangible from the intangible space. This is all realized through this reciprocal idea, flow idea, nonplussed idea, tolerant idea. This is how one accesses the wonder. You access the wonder through non-belief. You access the wonder through faith. You access the wonder by living in both the material and spiritual world, not one or the other, not all yin, not all yang, both. And this is how authenticity, truth is delivered to you through your experience. And this is rendering it to you in this piece. Look at the hands. The hands of the gentleman on the bottom left there are working, focused on a path. This is the person that's in anxiety. And look at how he's between the trees. He's caught. He's caught too focused on the path. Then we have the master here, the gentleman that has escaped the path. And now he is in his own space. Hands are contemplating rather than working, because the heart sees no path, whereas the mind is focused on the path. This is teaching you that the way to peace, the way to liberation, the way to emancipation is through the heart. In other words, not seeking the path. Being in the field, like we opened up this whole thing tonight. You are in the field participating, but you're not looking for a path. Look at his eyes. Are his eyes looking for a path? Nope. They're looking up at the bliss. This is how the person is living. They are living by their bliss, living in their bliss, and this is what brings you happiness, fulfillment, and joy. It's all, this is the beauty of art. Finally, the eyes. This is from that Bornet quote. I'll show that to you in a minute. When the eyes are guiding the way, it is anxiety. When the eyes are the scouts of the heart and the heart guides the way, this is elation. So when the heart is guiding you, remember folks, this is your bliss, this is your love. When love is guiding you, you see, it doesn't matter the arena, you are carrying love to that space. You are owning that love and bringing that love to space. You're not depending on the space to bring it to you. You are the source of that. You are bringing that, evoking and attracting that into the space, right? And you do this with the heart. Whereas if your eyes are focused and you're not looking around, you're going to miss, I'm going to talk about this in coming, you're going to miss the details because you're trying too hard. You're trying, first of all, but you're trying too hard to see some kind of path when there is no path. Your life experience, the now, is the path. There's not a path you're following. You're on a path, but you don't know where it goes. And the truly open individual doesn't want to know where it goes. They're in it for the now. They're not in it for a future coming. They're not in it to remake a future they screwed up. They're in it for the now. Right now. This is where fulfillment is found. And so you pick up on right here where I've got the inclination seen by the hand, by the eyes and heard by the ears. This is how you develop your discernment within the path, meaning the space that you're in. This is how you develop your discernment, is by being nonplussed so that you can notice the small details that will tend to steer you as you walk through life. And this is a great quote by Bornet. Through the eyes, through the eyes, love attains the heart, for the eyes are the scouts of the heart, and the eyes go reconnoitering, reconnoitering, and the eyes go reconnoitering. That's like looking over, like in a methodical, very closely examining way for what it would please the heart to possess, because the eyes find this. It's like when my eyes landed on Jenny in high school, it showed my soul, my heart, truth. The eyes are the scouts of the heart, and the eyes seeing Jenny filled me with love. This is the heart coming out because there's a connection there. Remember how I told you guys you don't choose things like your favorite color, your food, your spouse. You find that out. It's the eye's job, the ear's job to render this to the heart. And when you see that which is what you find beautiful and want to love, that when you see the setting, the hobby, the interest, the eyes, the ears, the music, whatever, attracts you. And this pulls the heart. And when you are going towards, when you follow your bliss, when you follow your love, you see how that brings the heart out? It brings the heart out of you because you're following what you didn't choose. You didn't choose what you love. You didn't choose your interest. You found this out. And so when you follow that interest, that underlying pull, what are you doing? You're following your bliss. Well, what did Dr. Campbell say about bliss? You follow your bliss, it leads to happiness. It leads to peace. Why? Because fulfilling the heart fulfills the life, fulfills the emptiness that the mind conjures. And you find fulfillment through following this thing, not by following this thing. This is what this art is showing you. It's rendering this to you. And then we see the tension between the two forms of yin and yang. So this just gives you a good idea of how much depth there is available to you as we look at some of these art pieces. And here we are gazing at it again. And you can see now, after we just talked about it, you can see the depth of it and how it pulls you in. What's really interesting in this writing up here on the top right, that's an old tradition out of China. And those are often koans or different spiritual statements that become an emphasis of the painting or a statement of the painting. I think it's really beautiful how Zen artwork does that. I think it's really beautiful how they set up the koan or the statement about the painting. Sometimes those statements are actually more important to the artist than the painting itself, which is really interesting. But that's a little tidbit there that's really good to know. Okay, now let's do some reading. Let's read a few pages from Zen here. This is chapter 4, Zen and the Arts. Do you guys have anything you want to say in regards to the paintings or in regards to what we just did? You guys have anything you want to say before I start reading? We won't go to banners just yet. I just want to see if you guys got any questions real quick before we get into Zen. You guys following? All good? You all good, Fortune? Good. Miss Redhead's good? Principles, yes. Everybody happy? You guys are going to love the reading we're about to do. It's so good. Yeah. Yeah, very good. Very much so. Just an individual, no one special. Just an individual, as far as I know. Just a subject in the painting. Yeah. Or he's on the journey. Or he's on the journey. Yeah. Okay, let's do some the Zen of oneness. Yes. Good call there, April Kitten. Yes, I agree. Good. Glad to hear it, Ronnie. Wait till you hear this first page. Here we go. Okay. All right. This is chapter 4. We're going to read 2.5 pages. Happily, it is possible for us not only to hear about Zen, but also to see it. Since one showing is worth 100 sayings, the expression of Zen in the arts gives us one of the most direct ways of understanding it. This is the more so because the art forms which Zen has created are not symbolic in the same way as other types of Buddhist art, or as is religious art as a whole. We talked about that earlier. The favorite subject of Zen artists, whether painters or poets, are what we should call natural, concrete, and secular things, even when they turn to the Buddha or to the patriarchs and the masters of Zen. They depict them in a peculiarly down-to-earth and human way. Furthermore, the arts of Zen are not merely or primarily representational. even in painting, the work of art is considered not only as representing nature, but as being itself. There it is, being itself a work of nature. So that the painting isn't even a painting, it's a work of nature. Do you see a different perspective it is? Because it is, you're a nature creature. A nature creature painted it. This is a work of nature. For the very technique involves the art of artlessness, or what Saburo Hasegawa has called the controlled accident. I mean, what is life? So that paintings are formed as naturally as the rocks and grasses which they depict. Isn't that awesome? This does not mean that the art forms of Zen are left to mere chance, as if one were to dip a snake in ink and let it wiggle around on a sheet of paper. The point is rather that for Zen, there is no duality, no conflict between the natural element of chance and the human element of control. The constructive powers of the human mind are no more artificial than the formative actions of plants or bees, so that from the standpoint of Zen, it is no contradiction to say that artistic technique is discipline in spontaneity and spontaneity in discipline. Isn't that fascinating? The art forms of the Western world arise from spiritual and philosophical traditions in which spirit is divided from nature. See, spirit is divided from nature and comes down from heaven to work upon it as an intelligent energy upon an inert and recalcitrant stuff. Thus, Malraux speaks always of the artist conquering his medium, as our explorers and scientists also speak of conquering mountains or conquering space. I mean, is that not Americana? Is that not biblical? Nature is something to have domain over, right? You, in other words, according to the Bible, you own nature. You are the caretaker of the earth, as though the earth needs a caretaker. Do you see how, when it is Romanized, the humanness is absent? Do you see? And how the Zen style brings the natural in, and the humanness then is evoked out of the painting, because you're not trying to control and dominate. Beautiful concept. Okay. To Chinese and Japanese ears, these are grotesque expressions. For when you climb, it is the mountain as much as your own legs which lift you upward. And when you paint, it is the brush, ink, and paper which determine the result as much as your own hand. Taoism, Confucianism, and Zen are expressions of a mentality which feels completely at home in this universe, and which sees man as an integral, there it is, guys, an integral part of his environment. Are you not? And when you look at these paintings, look how much integrity between the individual and nature there is. Right in the midst of it. Right in the midst of the integrity of nature. And we have the emulation of the protagonist in the picture. It's absolutely gorgeous. Let me turn this comment off. Yes, a happy accident. Exactly. Okay. Where we universe which sees man is okay. Human intelligence is not an imprisoned spirit from afar, but an aspect of the whole intricately balanced organism of the natural world, whose principles were first explored in the Book of Changes. That's the I Ching. Heaven and our Father as our mother, since the Tao by which it works is originally manifested in the yang and the yin, the male and female positive and negative principles, which in dynamic balance, see, because the universe is balanced, maintain the order of the world, right? The order of the universe, because the universe is balanced. The insight which lies at the root of Far Eastern culture is that opposites are relational and so fundamentally harmonious. Do you see the twist that is? Opposites are relational and so fundamentally harmonious. That is such a beautiful concept. Conflict is always comparatively superficial, for there can be no ultimate conflict when the pairs of opposites are mutually interdependent. Thus, our stark divisions of spirit and nature, subject and object, good and evil, artist and medium, are quite foreign to the culture, to the Zen culture. You see, these are foreign. Divisions of spirit and nature, subject and object, good and evil, artist and medium, are quite foreign to the Zen culture. In a universe whose fundamental principle is relativity rather than warfare, there is no purpose because there is no victory to be won, no end to be attained. For every end, as the word itself shows, is an extreme, an opposite, and exists only in relation to its other end. Because the world is not going anywhere, there is no hurry. This is key. One may as well take it easy, like nature itself. And in the Chinese language, the changes of nature and ease are the same word. This is a first principle in the study of Zen and of any Far Eastern art. Hurry and all that it involves is fatal. This is for all the workaholics out there. Hurry and all that it involves is fatal, for there is no goal to be attained. The moment a goal is conceived, now you guys are going to know why I'm so anti-goal. The moment a goal is conceived, it becomes impossible to practice the discipline of the art, to master the very rigor of its technique. Under the watchful, we're going to open that up in a minute. Under the watchful and critical eye of a master, one may practice the writing of Chinese characters for days and days, months and months, but he watches as a gardener watches the growth of a tree and wants a student to have the attitude of the tree, the attitude of purposeless growth, in which there are no shortcuts because every stage of the way is both beginning and end. Thus, the most accomplished master no more congratulates himself upon arriving than the most fumbling beginner. See, there you go. There's no such thing as accomplishment. There is simply being. Paradoxical as it may seem, the purposeful life has no content, no point. Did you catch that? Paradoxical as it may seem, the purposeful life has no content, no point. It hurries on and misses everything. Not hurrying, the purposelessness of life misses nothing, for it is only when there is no goal and no rush that the human senses are fully open to receive the world. Did you guys get that? It hurries on and on. The purposeful life hurries on and misses everything. Not hurrying, the purposeless life misses nothing, for it is only when there is no goal and no rush that the human senses are fully open to receive the world. Absence of hurry also involves a certain lack of interference with the natural course of events, obviously, especially as it is felt that the natural course follows principles which are not foreign to human intelligence. For as we have seen, the Taoist mentality makes or forces nothing, but grows everything. When human reason is seen to be an expression of the same spontaneous balance of yang and yin as the natural universe, man's action upon his environment is not felt as a conflict and action from outside. Thus, the difference between forcing and growing cannot be expressed in terms of specific directions as to what would or should not be done, for the difference lies primarily in the quality and feeling of the action. The difficulty of describing these things for Western ears is that people in a hurry cannot feel. Let's open this up. This is so good. You guys are going to love this. Part 4 is structured in 3 big movements: the philosophical foundation, why Zen art is the way it is; the concrete expressions, Zen expressed in painting, poetry, tea, and gardens. We're going to go through each of these. The training and outcome, how Zen arts train the mind in the way of Zazen meditation, liberation of the eternal present. The closing chapter of The Way of Zen is Alan's way of showcasing rather than merely telling. After spending the whole book explaining Zen's philosophy, history, and practice, Alan now demonstrates it directly through the arts it inspired. Zen is not illustrations or symbols of Zen. Zen art is Zen in action. Follow that? Zen art embodies the core insight that reality is not something to conquer, analyze, achieve, or improve, but something to participate in spontaneously with an attitude of full send, action without a sense of hurry, anxiousness, or ulterior purpose. The second sentence at the beginning of chapter 4 says, "One showing is worth 100 sayings," and reminded me of the common expression, "A picture is worth 1,000 words," obviously, because this final chapter helps conceptualize Zen instead of just reading about it. Now, Zen art is not symbolic, it is nature itself. Zen artists paint or write about ordinary, concrete, secular things rocks, grasses, birds, waterfalls, crazy hermits, even when they depict Buddhas or masters. They show them as down-to-earth humans, since it's the crazy people that are the normal in an insane society. I mean, welcome to Nature Creature. We're the crazy ones, so we're actually the normal ones because the society is totally insane. I mean, amen? The artwork is not a representation of nature. Got it? It's not a representation of nature. It is a work of nature. Okay, so this really helps you understand you as a nature creature. The artwork is not a representation. In Zen art, they're not representing nature. The piece itself is nature. The piece itself. It's like a flower. It's nature. And why is the piece itself nature? Because you, as a nature creature, painted it. What's outside of nature? Nothing. Nothing. So this artwork is an expression of nature, like a flower is in the garden. It's an expression of your nature. The artwork is, just like a flower is an expression of the shrub. Both are natural. Both are equally natural. When you can see this in your mind, you can see there's no mistakes or problems. Everything is connected. Everything is natural. Even your choices are natural because they're coming out of a nature creature. You see, your instincts are natural. It's coming out of your heart. Your heart, part and parcel of being a nature creature. Okay. The technique here is the controlled accident. The brush, ink, paper, and artist hand work together as one organic process. There is no duality between chance and control, human and natural. Do you see that? There's no duality between chance and control, human and natural. In other words, it is all part and parcel of the same thing. Contrasting with the Western tradition, which sees spirit descending to conquer inert matter, conquering the medium, the mountain, the space. Far Eastern sensibility sees man as an integral part of the universe, not something that has to be maintained, conquered, controlled. Do you see? Eastern sensibility does not see the world as something to conquer or overcome. It sees it as something to amalgamate and realize. Big difference. Big difference. One is trying to force, one is walking with. Do you want to force nature or do you want to walk with nature? Just asking a practical question here. Just want to ask you a practical question. Do you want to be the person forcing nature? Or you want to do that? You want to force your nature, your will onto nature? You want to do that? Or do you think it's a better idea to align with and amalgamate with the fundamentals, the flow, the connectivity, the oneness of nature? Which one is going to be less frustrating? Which one is going to cost less anxiety? If I'm rowing up the stream, how long am I going to last compared to if I'm rowing downstream and going with the flow? I'm going to last 5, 10, 20 minutes tops going upstream, trying to go against the flow. I'll last for days and 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 days flowing downstream, going with the flow. No anxiety, no resistance, peace. This is the Quan. This is how it is realized. Intelligent energy is as natural as a plant or bee. Heaven, earth, yang, and yin are all members of one balanced organism called the universe, called you. Opposites are relational and harmonious. There is no ultimate conflict. We've been talking about that since I started this thing. This here is, again, an example of this Zen artwork. This is from a gentleman named Sesu. And let's read this paragraph right here. Equally impressive is the mastery of the brush, of strokes ranging from delicate elegance to rough vitality, from minutely detailed trees to bold outlines and masses, given texture by the controlled accidents. You see, think of the brush as a controlled accident of stray brush hairs and uneven inking of the paper. Zen artists have preserved this technique to the present day in the so-called Zenga style of Chinese characters. Circles, bamboo branches, birds, or human figures drawn with these uninhibited, powerful brushstrokes, which keep on moving even when the painting is finished. After Muchi, perhaps the greatest master of the rough brush was the Japanese monk Sesu, whose formidable technique included the most refined screens of pine trees and birds, mountain landscapes reminiscent of, I can't read that word, and almost violently alive landscapes for which he used not only the brush, but fistfuls of ink straw to get the right texture of flying hairlines. And see, you can see it. See how that is? And that's life. Sometimes it approaches you and it splatters because it hits you so hard. And other times it's tight and refined. And so they're trying to express that here in this painting, where you can see up there where the brushes left dots and stuff from striking the painting. And then you can see some finer detail, like that line that's coming off that shrub down at the bottom. And this is life. And this is the beauty of this Zen artwork, is that it's emulating this aspect of life, and that sometimes life is difficult and it slams down on you. But yet that's also very natural. And that shouldn't be erased. That shouldn't be, you don't go back and try to erase all of the tough things you've been through. You go back and learn from them, because you can't change the past, but you can learn from it. And it's the same idea. You can't change all those little dots and stuff that came off that stroke. So celebrate it, make it a part of the painting and make it beautiful. In other words, make your life, the mistakes you've made, the parts that have gone outside the lines, integrate those things and make them beautiful. And this is the higher living. This is the high mind living. No purpose, no hurry, no goal. Because the universe is relatively because the universe is relativity rather than warfare, there's no victory to win, no final end to reach, no behavior to commit. Every end is just one extreme relative to another. This is why attempting meaning through a selfless universe is a red herring. Meaning is found in the moment, not in the answers. Hurry is fatal. Nature does not hurry, it grows. The painter does not paint, they emerge. Spring does not become summer and then fall. They are one event natural to the earth called seasons. This is a perspective change here for you. And they don't end. In the same way you have emotional seasons daily, called emoting. Earth has emotional seasons yearly, called weather. It's all the same wonder, playing in different forms, like we have poker, bridge, cribbage, or crazy eights with all the same deck of cards. Nature wears or plays distinguishable forms, but it is always the same ether. And here, I use my symbol here to show you that all these different forms, fire, earth, water, air, ether, these are all the same nature. They are all of the same nature. They are all principles of nature, right? But it's all the same essence, right? And you are the same way. You are full of emotions. You are full of seasons. You are full of dynamisms, right? But we all identify at the same central point. That same spiritual intangibility that we all are and identify through. And the dynamisms that happen are what bring life to that spirit, meaning you came here to experience. So actually experiencing the suffering, the pleasures, all together are why you're here. You came for that experience. And see, art, Zen, celebrates this. And it celebrates the appropriate action, the appropriate way to take and walk in life in the simple style and way that they're talking about right here of painting, where the artist is letting the hand flow. They're drawing the painting, and it's aggressive in the sense of they're just putting in their emotions, their feelings, their beauty into the art. They're creating, like the flower puts all, like the shrub puts all kinds of sugars and proteins and phosphorus into the shrub in order to grow the flower. And you're the same way with your art and emotions. These come out, and the Zen is celebrating that coming out, that expression, that humanness is celebrating it in the very techniques described. Absolutely brilliant. No purpose, no hurry, no goal. Practice of calligraphy, archery, swordsmanship, painting, music, etc. is done with the attitude of a tree growing, purposeless growth. That's why I use the story of the sword master in my book. Purposeless growth. The tree is not trying to reach a certain height or age. It's just growing. You ever thought about that? The tree isn't trying. It's just growing. And you're the same way. Zen suggests a similar approach. The master never congratulates himself on arriving, nor does the beginner feel the need to rush, because there is no destination. You see? Because see, there's no separation. Living in this larger perspective, you quell all the anxiety. Every stage has a beginning and an end in it. The perspective accords peace that calms the artist in realizing art is never complete because the end doesn't exist. So no need to seek for it. You see, because the end and beginning is in everything. Everything is a relative state of ending and restarting. It just demands on the world. It just depends on the world assumed. The bigger the perception, the larger the time scale becomes, and the less concerning the small view or end view becomes, because horizons are endless. The purposeful life then has no content. Did you get that? The purposeful life has no content because a purposeful life misses everything. Are you ready? Purposelessness misses nothing because when there is no hurry and no goal, the mind is still open to receive basically the authentic world. I can't receive the authentic world when I'm putting my intention, my purposeness on it. I am to evoke out the purposelessness and then emulate that. In other words, no try. I am emulating the natural life. I am emulating the authentic life. I am not trying to put on a costume. I'm not trying to be something that I'm not. I am who I am. I render this freely and openly with courage, right? And so this person, the person who doesn't have an intention, doesn't have a goal, is then free when they walk into the day, free when they take on perspective of their life. There's no intention there. There's no belief there. There's no have to there. The person is open. This is the person that can learn. This is the person that can learn. The person can learn when they no longer have or are putting their intention, their wants, their desires, what they like, what they don't like on the earth, but are actually flowing out of these things from the earth in life. There's no fighting. There's no fighting. It's just contrasts, but there's no fighting. And the contrast means in order to have a yin-yang, I have to have white and black. I have to have contrast in order to have the whole. And so the whole idea of Zen, what they're saying is don't come into the world, into your art, putting yourself on it. Emulate this out. Bring the art out from you. Don't put your mind on it and say, okay, I'm going to draw this. Heart, I want you to draw this. The heart doesn't take orders. You can't do it like that. This must come out from you in painting. It must come out from you in living life, because life is a painting. Life is art. These principles apply to both sides. Okay, so the purposeful life has no content because a purposeful life misses everything. Purposelessness misses nothing because when there is no hurry or goal, the mind is still open to receive the world. Appropriate action is not through force, not through ego. What I want, what I desire, what I think is right, what I believe, not force. The world, the earth doesn't respond to that kind of attitude. It just gives you negative back, but through alignment, growing with, not forcing upon. The difference is not found by following the rules, but in releasing from needing them in the first place, which is self-explanatory. Okay, the point I'm trying to make here is, I'm not saying, well then, Chuck, if it's purposeful, I'm just going to lay on my couch all day. I'm not going to do a damn thing. I'm just going to sit around and just kind of let the world just go as it comes, and I'm not going to miss a thing. No, you've gone to the other extreme now. You've taken it to the other extreme. No, purposelessness means I'm open to what happens in life. It may not be fun, like what's going on in the family right now. It's not very fun, but I'm open to it. And I am attempting in my life to emulate positives from that space to try and transform the negativity of that space. So I'm fully integrating the space. I'm in the space. I'm expressing the space, you see. I'm not trying to put my intention there. I'm trying to express the positivities that can be taken from the negative space, because the world is whole. There's positive and negative in everything. This is the purposelessness life. I'm simply integrating what is happening. I'm not having any intention. I'm not trying to make it one thing or another. I'm simply using the energy that's coming out of that space to build the world. Just like the artist is painting the painting, they're building that flower, but not in the sense of trying, in the sense of expression. These are very fine lines, but if you're able to walk those fine lines, you don't get caught into the extreme, which is, well, I'm just going to be a lazy ass, so that makes me purposelessness, so then I'm there. No, dude. No, you're taking it to an extreme. It is in the fine details, the fine lines, the fine point that you keep yourself from veering way off course, because walking life is not easy. It's full of traps and pitfalls. You have to be aware. You can't be lackadaisical, kicking back, waiting for a savior to come save you. You have to be participating. You can't be on your knees prostrate to participate. You got to get on your feet and walk, friend. You got to get up and take care of yourself and be self-responsible, not waiting for someone, waiting for something. Do you see? And so be very careful when you hear this word, purposelessness. It doesn't mean you don't care. It actually means the opposite. You're honoring the purposelessness of nature, because nature has no purpose, has no goal. It's not trying to get anywhere. It's not trying to do anything. It's just an exceptional story that's unfolding. There you go. Celebrate this. Don't try and change it. Don't try and put yourself on it. Celebrate it. Have how it renders itself in your life become the celebration that you render to others, no matter if that is darkness or light in your life. Render this to the world in a celebration, in a dance, and you will change. You will transform the energy. It's exactly what's happening in my private life right now. I am trying my best to offer you some kind of example or some type of way or means for you to apply this incredible Zen into your life. And I'm not saying I'm some kind of perfect example. I'm just saying this is it in action. This is it in action. This is what this describing here in this Zen is exactly the action that I'm involved in right now. And one of the reasons why I'm doing this right now. Okay, very good. The great arts of Zen, sumi, black ink on paper or silk, is done with a free dancing arm and upright brush, perfect for unhesitating spontaneity. Sung Dynasty masters created landscapes of mountains, mists, rocks, and birds that feel alive and sufficient unto themselves. Key features include emptiness that is alive. Can't you see it? Do you notice how much white there is in this painting right there on the right, which is emptiness, but notice how it all comes alive because of the contrast. The emptiness and the darkness here work together to form the whole, right? The emptiness is alive. Asymmetry, jagged lines, controlled actions, rough brush. This is the dynamism in the art and what makes it beautiful. The contrast of the white with the black is what makes it beautiful. Just like you, it's your contrast. It's your little eccentricities that make you, that make you so attractive. It's the parts of you that don't fit in really well. It's the parts of you that don't understand and are kind of misfit-like that makes you beautiful. I mean, that's what the collective is here at Nature Creature. We're a bunch of misfits, and we see that beauty in others because it's your quirkiness. It's just the way that you are, the way that you take the funky parts of yourself, you know, the funkiness and all that kind of stuff that make you so adorable. What is it that's so attractive about the little kid that's just learning to walk? The fact they're fumbling and falling all over the place and losing their balance and everything, that's what makes it adorable. Because they don't know how to walk. That's what makes it so adorable. And it's the same thing with you. We don't know how to live life. We're just living it. So that makes it adorable. It makes it adorable because you can't map it out. You just love it for what it is, the craziness that it is. This is just to be accepted because you're the same way. We're all crazy. We all have weird aspects about us. Celebrate these things. Celebrate these things. Just like we're doing in Nature Creature, we celebrate the fact that we're misfits. And it's because we're misfits that we haven't fit into the stagnant society. There's your knowledge. It's because you're a misfit that you have saved yourself. Because if you were a bot, if you were a parent, if you were obeying and doing as you're told, you wouldn't be a misfit. You'd be a square. Fitting right in, learning nothing, developing nothing, creative faculty in the trash. You are simply repeating, obeying, and parroting. There's no life there, friend. There's no life there. There's no life there. You're going to find life in the quirkiness, the unusual aspects, the stuff that isn't obvious. This is what is going to render to you a life worth living. Avoidance of geometric perfection. There it is again. Nature is most itself when it's irregular. And I mean, isn't that the reason why you love your spouse? They have a couple of different appearances about them that make them adorable. My wife has the most gorgeous cheeks. I just love kissing my wife's cheeks. I love my wife's cheeks. And so that's just a quirky aspect about Jenny, a characteristic of Jenny that I love, because her cheeks are unique compared to most people that I meet. And so this is a misfit. This is a difference. And it is those things that make people, life, so adorable. This is one of the ways that you celebrate the chaos. You celebrate the aspects of your life you can't get hold of, because that's what makes them beautiful. You can't get hold of them. Celebrate that. Celebrate the parts of spirituality that you can't put into words. That's what makes it beautiful. The parts of spirituality that can't be described, that can only be experienced. That's what makes it so unique and beautiful. You guys get the point. Zen art features action, and this balance through asymmetry, both vertical and horizontal, renders perfect imperfection the Zen perspective, obviously. Getting close to the end here. Poetry and the haiku, short, gnomic, wordless poems that evoke the pure suchness of a movement. Haiku, which was perfected by Basho, are like pebbles dropped into the mind's pool. They invite the reader to participate. They capture the 4 basic modes of Zen taste. And I mean, don't we all just love haikus? They're just awesome. Sabi, quiet and solitary. Wabi, and this is fun. Wabi, depressed yet seeing ordinary things in their incredible suchness. Aware, the not quite nostalgic sadness that goes with autumn and impermanence. This is what brings out beauty. And then Yugen, the mysterious hint of the unknown. These are qualities of the haiku. And so we see here on the right, sleet falling, fathomless, infinite, loneliness. Do you see how you participate in that? Because the sentences aren't complete and the words are suggestive. And so when you read that haiku, sleet falling, fathomless, infinite, loneliness, see, these all put pictures in your mind. This is the beauty of haiku. It's one of the things I love about haiku is that it forces the individual, or it coaxes the individual, right, to use their own mind. A brushwood gate, and for a lock this small, the woodpecker keeps on in the same place. Day is closing. I mean, think of the pictures that are shooting through your mind right now. Winter desolation. In the rainwater tub, sparrows are walking. Do you see how those word pictures ignite your creativity? That's haiku. That's haiku. That's why it's Zen. It's using features of nature, characteristics of nature, to open up your creativity, to open up your mind to larger and larger pictures of beauty and art, which is one of the biggest reasons why you're here. And this is what the haiku does. It evokes this love out of you. It evokes this recognition out of you. I think we got just a couple more slides. We're done. The tea ceremony, you guys know about that. The art of unhurried awareness. The simple bowl, powdered green tea, hot water, yet it shapes Japanese taste and architecture, ceramics, flowers, and daily objects. It's so beautiful. It is secular, relaxed, and profoundly Zen. An escape into the Taoist world of carefree hermits, yet fully compatible with everyday life. The ritual honors the controlled accident, cracked bowls mended with gold, peasant wear for its rough beauty, humanness at a creative peak, celebration, honor, and sincerity. I mean, this is human beings in their prime, engaging in rituals like this, folks. Seriously, this is us in our prime. When we are connecting in ritual together and we are sharing in the perfection of, say, this tea ceremony, which has all the imperfection in it, which makes it perfect, and we're engaging at this level of sincerity in life with others, do you see how this authenticates you? Do you see how it does that? Do you see how it brings the human out of you and you realize the nature creature that you are, engaging in nature ritual, namely tea and boiling tea and making the product, right? And then engaging with nature creatures around you, sharing in the same mindset of wonder and enrapturement in that space. Look at this space, these gals right here. Isn't that beautiful? And they are celebrating together. This is humanness. It's beautiful. This is art. Gardens and bonsai, these are not imitation landscapes, but suggestions of mountain and water, everything placed as if it always was there. The gardener prunes as if he himself is a plant in the garden, following the intentionless intention of the forms. The gardener's efforts are highly artificial in one sense, and yet extremely natural in another. And see, that's the challenge, isn't it? To tend the garden, but make it look like it's just the wind blowing and natural that these things look like this. It's not me that's coming along and trimming. And a good gardener will be able to do that in their garden. There'll be a natural, look at a lot of the British gardens they have in like Shropshire, where David Austin roses are. If you look at the gardens there, there's a hodgepodge aspect to them, but a very fine refinement to them. They're both. And so this is what Zen is attempting here in these landscapes. There's supposed to be a beauty, a humanness that you bring to it, but as a nature creature, you're also wanting to emulate the natural way that nature would care for and tend the garden. So you're both putting in your human side, absolutely, but since you're a nature creature, you're integrating that human side through the nature values, and so that the garden becomes this beautiful expression of art and truth and transparency and you. So good. So good. The naturalness of it, the whole thing is incredible. A Zen paradox. Zen art follows the same training principle as Zen itself. See Haragel's Zen and the Art of Archery, or Taquan's Letter on Swordsmanship. Those are highly recommended reads. I haven't read them in a long time, but they're highly recommended reads. The student must practice relentlessly, yet without trying. The arrow shoots itself. The brush draws itself. Follow. Decision and action are simultaneous. Do you see that? That is a really deep statement there. The student must practice relentlessly, yet without trying. It's like seeing a gifted musician, and you see they're banging away on drums or the guitar, and it looks effortless. Like they're just flying through the keys and I'm looking at the notes, you're just playing the whole thing. It's just coming out of them, and they make it look effortless. This is true Zen. This is true art. And participating in something highly complicated, but yet rendering it in such a way that everybody thinks they could play it. That's a true musician. That is a true artist. And that is beautiful when you have mastered the instrument to that level, to where it looks, because see, when the artist looks like they're not trying, the music becomes effortless. And when the music becomes effortless, you can hear it. You're not seeing the artist and seeing them play and thinking, wow, they're barely making it. They're barely making it happen. The true virtuoso will make it look like the instrument grew out of them. And this brings about a peace and a relaxation of just like, wow. It's just naturally coming out of them. They're not even having to try. Because when you see a person having to try, that puts an onus on the situation. But when you see someone playing an instrument or painting a painting, and they're smiling, they're going at it, they're having a great time with it, you see you can enter right into that space because there's no trying happening. There's no tension there. There's just fluid flow. And that virtuoso instrument player can pull you right into that flow, pull you right into that. And this is what happens at concerts. These virtuoso musicians are bringing that entire group straight into the fold because they're all playing without trying. They're all playing. They've been playing their whole life. The instrument now grows out of them. They don't even have to think about it. And that lucidity, that flow, that ease is the beauty of seeing a true musician. A true musician can bring you right into that world with them. So you yourself would think, I could play that if I tried. And that's beautiful. That's beautiful to think that you would be that captured by the moment and in that natural expression. I mean, that is why I love to watch great musicians. Okay. Dogen's firewood to ashes image. There is no intention to become ashes while still firewood, in the same way one sits just to sit with no goal to attain satori. We've talked about that endlessly. Yoga is no different. There's no try there. Genuine haiku, genuine satori, genuine arts drop off by themselves. Planned surprises or intentional satori are contradictions. I don't want you to miss that. Planned surprise and intentional satori, those are contradictions. Art, intentionally painted, and action, seeking the fruits, are contradictions of satori. You follow? Meditate on that. Critical. It's getting long. My brain is starting to fry. I think we're almost done. How many? Okay, we got 3 left. Breathing time in the eternal present. Breathing is a physiological key. As it changes, the emotions change. Think about that. When aroused, the breathing changes. When in fear, the breathing changes. When exasperating, the breathing changes. Control and spontaneity meet here. See that line? The practice is not forced exercise, but watching and letting. Full exhalation, natural inhalation. This mirrors the whole of Zen. Zen is the way of instantaneousness, awakening, because it is liberation from grasping and effort. We breathe without effort. Past and future are abstractions. Reality is an illusion. In fact, the linear hairline present we commonly feel is created by a mind that doesn't exist. When the mind stops grasping, it awakens to the eternal present, the timeless, unhurried flowing of the Tao. It's just this and nothing else. The this is change. The superficial consciousness thinks it must seize the show to be safe, but the original mind regulates the show effortlessly and without trying. Awakening is simply seizing the attempt to control what is already happening. I'll let you guys meditate on that. The way of Zen ends exactly where Alan suggests. These are the last 2 pages. Not a grand philosophical conclusion, but the simplest possible statement of reality. Just this. After hundreds of pages of explanation, the book dissolves into the direct, aimless, vivid suchness of the present moment. It's the same suchness expressed in a sung landscape, a basho haiku, a chipped tea bowl, or a cat's purr. The final message is gentle and radical. Zen is not a religion to believe or a goal to reach. It is the discovery that life is complete, happening, and perfect in its purposeless play, positive and negative wholeness, and self-guiding suchness. There is nothing to grasp. There is only wonder to experience. And finally, our last page, and then we will go to chat. The arts show us how to live discovery by dancing with life, without hurry, without forcing, without trying to get somewhere. Arts train in the skill of artlessness, no try. The discipline of spontaneity, letting go. The joy of nothing special, everything is divine. Keep that in mind. Nothing is special because everything is divine. Discovering this, you will walk the holistic path of Zen. The final chapter is an invitation to put the book down, look around, and notice that the Zen you've been studying is the Zen you are. Got it? The Zen that we've been studying is the Zen that we are, the ordinary and the extraordinary, the life and the death, the conscious and unconscious now. Yeah? Zen is done, guys. Awesome. All is divine. Yes, we did it. We walked the whole book, man, and we did the microscope version, man. If you want to know the book, The Way of Zen, watch the series and you will know it better than you ever will in your life. And I promise you it'll affect you. It'll affect your life. It will affect your life. I am right here for questions. We'll go for banners in a minute. I just want to say hello to everybody and see if anybody has anything to say. Yes, all is divine. Yes, it is beautiful. Agree with you, Jay. So sorry, Chuck. Alan Watts romanticized Zen. That's why I was confused. Is that good or bad? I can help explain if it's bad. Zen art, mindfulness, moving meditation, natural creation, nature creature. Just this, yes. You got it, mythological muse. You're welcome, Daniel. You're welcome. Yeah, if you want to, and we also meet on Wednesday. I'm not closing up. We're going to be here for a while. I meet on Wednesdays at 4. Also, in addition to 5 o'clock here on Saturdays. It has been a long journey, hasn't it? It has been a long journey, but it's well worth it. The Zen series is well worth it. What I should do is I should take all my PDFs, all my sheets, and make it into a book, the whole series into a book of all my, of all of the slides that I did. Wouldn't that be great? Be nice to have on the shelf. So glad to hear it. Glad to hear it, Dawn. Yeah, Terrence McKenna, he liked Zen, but Terrence was a lot like me in that he was non-religious and didn't want to believe in or set into anything. But McKenna appreciated Zen, of course, and appreciated all the Eastern traditions. He just didn't spend his life on it like Watts did. Watts had a much more intense love for Zen than McKenna did. McKenna was more of a scientist, sort of a bit more atheistic, though I don't think McKenna was an atheist. He would have been more atheistic, though, than Watts, I would imagine, for what it's worth. Is Zen, they're both equal. Yeah, they're both, again, the holistic approach. Both are equal. Don't focus on one or just the other, but do both. I think they're both important. One is exercise for your mind. One is exercise for your body. And those are important. Love you too, Fortune. You think so? Should I make, I should make maybe a book, because it's probably, I think I probably made about, I'd say probably 500 slides, 500 to 600 slides in the Zen series. So that would be a 500 to 600 page book. To give you an idea. Pretty crazy. What is this? Chuck, can you imagine a future when you have an illness? You can go to a healing chamber with a musician playing a resonant song to cure you. That would be way cool. If you have multiple disorders, go to an orchestra. Yeah, that'd be way cool. You have to focus in on specific frequencies, but I got to tell you, the med beds, eventually, it won't be frequency dependent. It's going to send the resonating, self-organizing, resonating factor into your whole body. It won't be specific frequencies. It will get them all. Yeah, I love Zen too. I love Zen too, Jamie. It is awesome. Yeah, correct. You are correct. It is. I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that too. I've seen some of that book. What does the word Zen derive from? Its etymology. And why is it not Om? I don't know. I haven't looked up its etymology. This whole study. I probably did early on, but I've forgotten since. Okay, what is this? Hi, Max. Nearly everything you're teaching us, Chuck, resonates with me. So, oh, that's so good to hear, buddy. Simply because it's intuitional. Yeah. Yes. Max, that is such a good line, man. I'm a true nature. Yeah, exactly. That is such a good line. That is so good that you have picked that out there, Max. In that it is instinctual. That's what Zen is attempting. That's why the Zen master says they have nothing to teach, right? But what does the seminary profs say? They have a ton to teach, you see, because it's not intuitional. Western religion is not intuitional. It's learned, whereas Eastern traditions are intuitional because they're based on the idea that you're a nature creature, you're in a natural world, and nothing's wrong. It's not fallen, you're not fallen. And the individual is trusted. You trust yourself in the East. You don't trust yourself in the West, you see. And if I can't trust myself, then what can I trust? Because then my own opinion of myself, I can't trust because I can't trust myself, you see. And so trusting yourself, identifying as not a sinner, and identifying the world as not fallen is key psychology, you see, to understanding the intuitional aspect of the world, because you're not putting your onus, your fear, your sin, your assumptions on it. And so therefore the instinctual aspect of it is obfuscated by the religion. So Max, beautiful point you made here, and shows that you're not taken up by religion because you understand that it's instinctual, and you have picked up on that instinct as we've been reading it. You've picked up on it, and you've picked up on it, Max, because you're living a life of purposelessness. You don't have intention you're putting on the world. You're not putting a religion on the world. You're not putting belief on the world. You're not putting yourself on the world, you see? And therefore you're sensitive to the instinct. You're sensitive to the underlying current because you're not trying to fix the world. You're not trying to save the world. You're not trying to do something. You're not trying. And so therefore the intuition can come out. Beautiful stuff, Max. Beautiful comment. Absolutely stunning. Stunning comment. Thank you, Max. Yep, and I have almost all pages, slides printed. Zen, my next final be complete. Nice. I love it, Mythological Muse. I love it. I'll definitely make Zen into a book for sure, because I got all the pages, man. I got everything. I got everything, and it will be. I mean, I bet you the book will probably be that thick. It would be incredible. But I tell you, man, you'd know more about the way of Zen than you ever knew in your life. Okay. Oh, thank you. Here, Zen derives from Chinese Chan. I remember that. That's right. Which derives from Sanskrit dhyana. Same non-gradual method as it traveled from India through Tibet, through China, Japan. Yeah, we covered that in the beginning. I remember that, this Chan word, and the Sanskrit dhyana, or dhyana, however that's pronounced. But yes, that's correct. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. A quick AI search could have also got me the answer too. I could have done that for y'all. But thank you for going ahead and posting that. Thank you. Thank you. Please do deep dive on importance of music for our benefit. You know, that's a good idea. The importance of music, that might be a good series to do. I consider them white witches, and I don't think a witch is bad. It's just that they've been twisted. A witch is a individual, male or female, that understands the alchemy of nature, and you could think of positive energy as witchcraft if you're a witch, in the same way you can think of negative energy as witchcraft as a witch. It goes both ways. But you can use witchcraft for the betterment of others and the betterment of yourself, and you can also use it for the negative and the deterioration and worsening of others. It's information. It's information to craft nature. And so I don't have a hard line on that, Dawn. It depends on the intention of the witch. Does she have good intention, loving and helpful and compassionate intention in her craft? Or is she trying to harm, cast spells, and do damage to others? Okay? It's the 4D world is available to both sides. There's as much good as there is evil in the world. You can use it either way. You can use alchemy to the betterment of yourself. You can use alchemy to the worsening of yourself and others. Everything's both ways. It's like sugar. Sugar tastes great and it's delicious to have from time to time. But if you start making a diet of it and eating it 3 times a day, you're going to die. Life is like that across the board. It's like that across the board. Any extreme. You go all bad, you're going to get bad. You go all good, you're going to get good. Right? You just any extreme. But what you want is the middle, so that you get this balanced perspective. You get this balanced understanding. Great question. The Zen teachings have helped me so much to transform out of the control that Christianity had on me. Amen. Right on. The whole flow and not control reality is key. Thanks. You're welcome, Gretchen. Yeah. Zen is a freeing philosophy. It's a freeing philosophy. And the thing I like about Zen too is that it doesn't ask anything of you. It simply wants you to be you and be authentic, and to realize your authenticity is perfect. And when you realize mistakes are part and parcel of the world, if you even want to call them those, when you realize that, you don't have anxiety or hangups about them. You accept the fact that you make them. It's okay. And you learn from them and you grow up. You know, and it's all about accepting, taking ownership, taking responsibility, which is the opposite of all the Western religions, which is all about offloading your responsibility to Jesus, offloading your spirituality to a religion. Everything is offloaded. It's not coming from within you because you're a sinner. You see, so Zen is great in that it's not that perspective. It really is a self-trusting, self-loving perspective of the world, not having to fix yourself. There's nothing to fix. Whereas you look at Western religion, you're constantly fidgeting with the religion. You're constantly trying to fix yourself because you're a sinner and you got problems. You don't have that hang up in Zen. So it's much more, it's a much better philosophy, a much better psychology. Okay. We're doing good on time here. Yeah, you're correct. You're correct. Most witches are evil, but not all of them. Just like, you know, there's a lot of people, the vast majority of people are empty in the head, but then you have a very good sized group of people that are not empty in the head. Service to self. That's service to self. Ego-oriented, an ego-oriented individual. Correct. That's correct. Okay, let's do some banners. Stacy, throw some banners up. Let's see what we got. Fortune. This is why you see yourself in strangers and vice versa. No drugs. The recognition of yourself in another human. This is why the lady at the grocery store is you. Yeah. Improperly used drugs will definitely numb you. Appropriately used drugs, especially psychoactive medicines, will awaken you. But it's just like anything else. There's technique. I can hop in a plane and fly across the world and get there safely. But if I don't know how to fly that plane, I'm going to kill myself. Drugs are no different. Drugs can deliver to you, appropriately used psychedelics, can deliver to you healing, nurturance, and nature unlike anything in the world. But if you abuse them, if you overuse them and to become dependent on them, then they're your worst nightmare. This is life. The responsible individual knows this. The responsible individual will be able to balance these kinds of things. Just like the responsible individual knows, hey, I can eat sugar maybe once or twice a week to stay healthy. I'll be fine, meaning it's not going to deteriorate me that much. It's better to not eat any, but if I do have to eat it from time to time, fine. That same person also, if they're a responsible individual, will not go and eat sugar, every single day of the week. This is called being an adult. This is adulting. And adults, everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, next question. Awesome. Everything in moderation. Gretchen, what's going on? Chuck, might we say that the painting is painting the painter as the painter is creating? Yes. You guys are so with it in chat. I swear to God, that is so insightful. Yes, the painting is painting the painter as much as the painter is creating the painting. Yes, 100%, Gretchen. 100%. That was a great insight, Gretchen. Hi, Paula. A failure to plan is a plan to fail. True or false? I'm talking about in psychology. I'm not talking about in your daily. The cook in the Zanga is also the most honored position. Every detail is planned, but the planning is the song, the art. Yeah. Don't make it walk on all fours. Don't make it walk on all fours. I'm saying planning in the sense of the world is this. I am this. The world means this. We are here for this. You see? You got all the answers. That's your plan. You got all the answers. So when you get approached by life, you got all the answers. This is when you blaspheme life. That's what it's talking about. You got it all figured out. You know the plan. You got it all figured out. It's not about sovereignty. It's about figuring out the plan and obeying. Do you see? This is the failure. This is the person who fails to realize the world is not a plan. There's nothing that has the world held. The world is not being held by anything. Nothing is controlling the world. The world is free. So any idea you have of it puts a plan on it. You're putting assumption on it. That's inappropriate. That's inappropriate. Now, if I have to plan, let's say like I'm bankrupt and I have to save money, I've got to get out of bankruptcy so I can restart my life. I will have to have a plan. I will. Don't make it walk on all fours. Don't make it walk on all fours. The plan I'm talking about here is the onus that you put on the world, the onus and assumption that you put on life. That it should be or shouldn't be one way or the other. That by doing this, it should do that. No, it's going to do what it wants. Don't try to put yourself on it. Don't try and put yourself in it. Stop that. Step back. Don't plan. Allow it to unfold. But absolutely be responsible in your life. And it's the irresponsible move to say, well, no plan. I'm just going to lay on my bed all day. And I know that my banker's going to call me and tell me I got 50 grand that just got deposited because God's going to take care of me. No, that's foolishness. You're making it walk on all fours. You're taking it to the extreme. You're doing the immature. I'm not saying you, Paula. I'm saying the individual that does that is doing the immature plan or the immature role. They're making these natural principles walk on all fours. And it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. life unfolds how it's going to unfold, and we are to simply ride along with that. Absolutely have your canoe, absolutely have your oar, absolutely have your life vest on, absolutely participate, right? Don't be afraid, right? Absolutely have those plans in place, but where the river's going to take you, how it's going to go, how the rapids are going to hit you, how you're going to handle that, you're going to have to do that in the moment. You're going to have to do that as the rapids come. You can't plan. You got to just roll with the rapids. You're prepared. That's your plan. You're prepared. You have the proper suiting on so that you'll survive. That's a good plan. But you're not putting a plan on how this thing unfolds. You're not shaping it how you want it to be. It's going to go how the river takes you. It's going to go how the rapids take you. There's no plan for that. And if you try to put on a plan by looking at the rapids and say, okay, at this part of the river, I'm going to be right there. And then at this part of the river, 2 feet further, I'm going to be right there. And then at 5 feet, I'm there. And then 20 feet down, I'm going to be right there. That's what I'm talking about. That's the madman. That's not a plan. That's insanity. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Makes sense, Paula? Hi, Paula. Most haiku were Japanese death poems. Where did this slideshow come from? Tea ceremony is scary, not realizing perfection matters. It's just, I guess you've been exposed to some pretty negative things. Haiku is beautiful poetry. This tea ceremony is not scary. It's a beautiful setting, and it's a beautiful expression. So I'm sorry you've had some bad experiences with those things. And that's okay. I'm sorry, though. That's how life unfolds sometimes. Sorry it was like that for you. Yes, I'd appreciate the thumbs up for sure. Any more banners? Are we going to start to wind it up? What do you want to do, Stacy? You want to keep going? You guys want to keep going? Or are you guys too tired? Hi, Verbal. Do you view natural law as we understand it on Earth applies uniformly throughout the universe? No. Going over to the next galaxy, do they have their own version? No. No. I think that the universe is an expanding space, and you can't put laws on it. There are natural laws here on this planet because we have laws that we are abiding in, namely gravity, atmosphere. You have to eat to live. There are behaviors and natural laws that go along with living on this planet, but that doesn't mean you then apply them to the rest of the universe. Now, there might be some general relativity laws that might work. But at this point, I'm not even sure you have that, because the universe is an unknown. The universe is a field of endeavor, and you can't just take our understanding of the universe from this little tiny spot in it and just put it on the rest of the universe. To me, that's inappropriate. So yeah, I think that there's natural law here on this planet, and there's natural law part of our lives and how we're oriented here. But I think that the rules change when you leave the planet. The rules change when you leave the organization as we know it now. Hey, Paula, exactly. I plan by having the necessary, then roll with how things unfold, but no plan for necessities like carry water, chop wood, basics are necessary. Yeah. Paula, you got it. And I love your cat. Yeah, you got it. Don't make it walk on all fours. Very good. Yeah. Those are some natural laws for sure. Yeah, for sure. But remember, our humanness is unique. What existence is to other beings, I don't even know. Yeah, correct. Correct. Yes, correct. I love this. I plan on making a plan to make a plan that I will probably not plan. I'm going to plan to not plan to plan. There we go. Greatness. Love it. Chuck, have you seen Chi Master John Chung Acupuncture Chi? I think I have. Is he that guy that does acupuncture or that does adjustments, chiropractic adjustments, and like fixes people's back like overnight? He's incredible. He's really good. Here we go. We're about to finish up, guys. We'll wrap it up here in a moment. Haiku, Chuck's channel is good. He helps is to flow right now. It's a Zen thing. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. You got it, Gretchen. Thanks you guys so much for being here tonight. I really appreciate seeing you. Understand and know that, let's see, tomorrow is Sunday. We will be meeting on Zoom. If one of the moderators can just put up the Zoom information. We meet, we're going to be meeting at 11 o'clock this month for Zoom. If you're a member, you can come to the Zoom meeting and you can talk about anything. We basically have an open book as far as what can and can't be talked about. And so if you have questions, concerns, or just want to know something, you can come to Zoom. There's a membership fee per month to attend Zoom, which is $9 a month. But that also gives you all the high def slides and everything of all my talks. And then I've also got some movies. I actually did a video this week that's for members only. And over the next few weeks or months, I'm going to be sharing with members stories from my family, stories from my friendships. I'm going to be covering sort of some of the life lessons that I learned, and those will be exclusive for members only. I'll be doing this sort of family series and talking about my life and my relationship to my dad and everything, which some of the stuff I just talked about in the video, I released to the members. You will not be able to access those videos in the general public. You'll have to be a member to access those videos. Those are going to be a little bit more private and personal, so more oriented towards the smaller family here at Nature Creature. But I will be offering those videos, and I'll be making them over the coming weeks for everyone that's a member. And then if you're not a member, that's fine. But if you're not a member, you won't be able to access Zoom, which we do on Sundays. But you can access our Wednesday show. I meet at 4 o'clock on Wednesdays, and it's all chat. No lecture, all chat. And then we obviously meet here at 5 o'clock on Saturdays for a lecture. I will do a full lecture on Saturdays every week. And this next week, we're going to be talking about the Great Awakening. We'll be talking about the Great Awakening from McKenna Watts and Jung's point of view. And that's what we do here at Nature Creature. So if you want to check it out, you can check out my channel, naturecreature.net. And I'll be, I got writings there, videos there. We have interaction there. If you'd like to be part of the family, you can. And like I said, it's $9 a month, and you can go to Zoom, all that you like. I also made an offer for my members that I'm not making to the general public at this time. So if you're interested in finding out what that offer is that I've made to my members, please become a member and you can find out. All good. Okay, here we go. To get to the link on Sunday, you become a Nature Creature member. Just go to my site and just click on the membership menu and become a member. And the link is there, and you can join us every Sunday. We're meeting at 11 right now. It'll go back to 1 after the month. But right now in August, we're meeting at 11. And it's one of my favorite times of the week, man, because I get to see all the Nature Creatures up front, personal, right here in the computer, and we can talk face to face. It is a wonderful time. It is a wonderful time together. Yeah. So I do Zoom on Sundays at 11 o'clock this month. I'm sorry I had to change the time. It used to be 1 o'clock. It's not right now. It had to go to 11 because of what's happening in my personal life. It will go back to the regular 1 o'clock time in September. But in August here, it's at 11 o'clock my time. And if my time is Pacific, Seattle time. If you want to know what time it starts, let's say like you're in Australia, or let's say like you're in Great Britain, or let's say like you're in China, and you want to know what time Zoom is on Sunday, go to Google and type into your Google when it is, in this case, 11 o'clock a.m. on Sunday in Seattle, Washington. What day and time is it in my time zone? So if you're in London, England, you would type in when it's 11 a.m. on a Sunday in Seattle, what day and time is it in London, England? And Google will tell you. And that's the time we meet. So if you don't know, if you're in Australia, if you're some foreign country, no problem. Just Google, what time is it? My time when it's 11 a.m. in Seattle on Sunday. And that way you'll always know, and it'll always give you an accurate time. Yeah? Do I go to email to open Zoom? No. So John, the way it works is if you want to come to Zoom, you become a member. When you become a member, it's $9 a month. When you become a member, you then in the membership link, there'll be a little button to click. It says take me to Zoom or Zoom link. And you'll click that button and it will take you to the Zoom. If you have like a VPN or something, it might say suspicious site or something. Just say, don't worry about it, ignore that, go to the site. Because some of the security programs out there don't link really well to Zoom. They don't like Zoom that much. And so you have to tell it, no, I want to link there. I'm doing this. This isn't malicious. This is good. And it will link you into it. Okay? That's how you access Zoom. Everybody's welcome. I just ask that you respect others in the group, that we're kind to one another. Yeah. 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 If you cannot afford a $9 a month membership, there are people in the Zoom or in the Nature Creature family that will sponsor you. And all you do is you just click on the button. There are buttons at my site that say I want to sponsor someone for a month or 3 months or whatever. Just click on it, tell us the email that you want to sponsor, and we'll put them on the list. And they can attend. We have a number of people that can't afford the $9 a month and they're being sponsored. It happens. It's okay. It's okay. But it just helps support the work that we're doing here. That's what this is about. I think we're about done. Thanks, y'all, for being here tonight. It's been a great night. I've really enjoyed finishing up Zen. It's wonderful to have the project completed. I'll definitely have to look to see if I can make a book out of it, but we will see. I will definitely look into that. It would be an amazing book. It would be fantastic. And I hope that you guys can make Zoom tomorrow. I hope you can make it. I'm going to go ahead and play the postlude, the prelude postlude, so you guys can hear the music again. But I hope you can make it to Zoom tomorrow. It'd be great to see you, and I love meeting with the family. So, yeah, if you have some financial questions or issues, just let us know, and we will try to find you a sponsor. We'll do what we can. We are dependent on those that are willing to give to sponsors for now. Eventually, I'd like to have it where there's no membership fee. I just can't do that right now. But eventually, I would like to do that someday, I hope. Glad to hear it, Jay. Love you guys so much. Glad that you guys were here tonight. Great seeing all of you. Thank you for being here. Please like and share. Please tell your friends about what we're doing here. You never know when a person might resonate with us, and it might be really helpful to them. And I really enjoy the evenings with you. I so look forward to Saturday nights, Wednesday nights, Sunday evenings or Sunday afternoons, for sure. Love you too, rulers. Glad that you're here. Oh, sorry. Glad that you're here, for sure. Glad that you're here. Yeah, definitely breathe, for sure. Yeah, Stacy's the best. Stacy is the Lux Natura, and we love her for it. Love you guys. I will look forward to seeing you next week. Great week this week. I'll talk to you later. Let's do this.
Everything is perfect.
What does that mean?
It means that everything that's happening right now is actually a perfect manifestation of a maturation of a species. We don't actually have, a polycrisis going on. We've got a hospice moment. And the joy that I had as a hospice doctor was so different than when I was running ICUs and battling against death and failing against death every day. You change your perspective for a moment as a doctor, and you suddenly are sitting by somebody's bed, and the victory is no longer staying alive longer. It's integrating everything that's happened. And I got to watch over and over again how humans at that last few minutes of life suddenly look back and realize their life was perfect. And I think that's the exciting moment we're in, is we're going to move past this polarized state of human perspective where we keep flipping the victim-perpetrator code, and we use the savior mentality to keep that victim-perpetrator coin flipping to keep a mirage going. And we can get into why we created the mirage in the first place. But in the hospice moment, you suddenly put that coin down, and somebody starts dipping across the veil of the limited 5 senses of their brain, and they start feeling an ecstatic moment where they realize, oh my God, the whole thing was poetically perfect. All of the heartbreak, all of the estrangement, all of the disappointment, all of the insecurity. I did that for the experience, and I felt everything. I felt everything a human can feel. And you get to see somebody who just a moment ago really thought their life was a failure, difficult time with their kids, never became successful in their jobs. And they suddenly realized it had nothing to do with any of those metrics. It had to do with the experience of feeling everything a human being is capable of, which is probably one of the most unique experiences a soul can have. We are a very strange species for the limitations of our perception. And for that, we get to feel a lot. And that's really blessed. And so I think we're moving towards this moment as a species now. We're on our hospice bed, and we've been here 300,000 years in our current form. We've been given our hospice diagnosis. We got a few decades left in this current form. At that moment when we put down that victim-perpetrator polarized sense of like, he's right, she's wrong, she's right, he's wrong, we set that coin down, we're going to suddenly have a hospice moment where everything suddenly makes sense, and we understand why we did the journey together. We realize that those that we thought were our enemies or the biggest problems of our lives were holding polarity to a human experience that was waiting for our deathbed moment, because about 10% of hospice patients don't die. They get discharged and go on to live a new life.
Saw your face at 2 a.m. Blue light glowing through my hands. You were laughing in that bar, posting songs inside your car. Almost typed and closed the chat, overthinking after that. Then you posted cigarettes, caption said I can't forget, so I replied something dumb about the song. You reacted with a heart, and suddenly we talked too long. Now it's every single night, typing under city lights, sending memes and voice notes slow, things nobody else would know. You say come over as a joke. I say maybe through the smoke. Two strangers in the dark, getting close through broken hearts.
The shaman is not an unambiguous figure. The shaman is not leading people into a realm of unmitigated happiness. Rather, shamans lead people into realms of risk and opportunity. And that needs to be understood. They are tricksters.
What is the meaning of the virgin birth? In India, there's this the system of the Kundalini, as it's called, the idea of the centers, psychological centers up the spine. And they represent the psychological planes of concern and consciousness and action. The first is at the rectum, and this is that of alimentation. The serpent represents this, a traveling esophagus going along, just eating. And all of us, we wouldn't be here if we weren't eating. And then the second center is at the sex organ center, and that's the urge to procreation. The third center is at the navel, and this is where you eat and want to consume, and it's not the alimentary eating, it's the mastering and smashing and trashing of others. You see, this is the aggressive mood. Now, the first is an animal instinct. The second is an animal instinct. The third is an animal instinct. And these three centers are located in the pelvic basin, you see. Mm-hmm. The next one is at the level of the heart. And this is the opening of compassion. And there you move out of the field of animal action into a field that is properly human and spiritual. Now, in each of these centers, there is a symbolic form. At the base, the first one, there is the form of the lingam and yoni, the male and female organs in conjunction. At the heart chakra, there is again the male and female organs in conjunction, but in gold. This is the virgin birth. It's the birth of spiritual man out of the animal man. Do you understand?
And it happens
when you are awakened at the level of the heart to compassion and suffering with the other person. That's the beginning of humanity. And the meditations of religion properly are on that level, the heart level.
You say it's the beginning of humanity, but in these stories, that's the moment when gods are born, the virgin birth. It's a God who emerges from that chemistry.
And you know who that God is? It's you. All of these symbols in mythology refer to you. You can get stuck out there and think it's all out there. And so you're thinking of Jesus and all the sentiments about how he suffered and all. What that suffering is what ought to be going on in you. Have you been reborn? Have you died to your animal nature and come to life as a human incarnation?
Why is it significant that this is of a virgin?
Well, it is that the begetter is the spirit. It is a spiritual birth. The virgin conceived of the word, but through the ear.
The word came like a shaft of light.
Yes. And now the Buddha was born from his mother's side at the level of the heart chakra. That's a symbolic birth. He wasn't born from his mother's side, but symbolically he was.
But the Christ came the way you and I come.
Yes, but of a virgin.
Which is a power greater than...
And then, according to Roman Catholic doctrine, her virginity was restored. So nothing happened physically, you might say. It's not a physical birth. It's symbolic of a spiritual transformation. That's what the virgin birth's about. And so deities are born that way, who represent beings who act in terms of compassion and not in terms of the lower three centers.
The Lord's Prayer begins, "Our Father, which art in heaven."
Yeah.
Could it have begun, "Our Mother"?
This is a metaphorical image. This is a symbolic image. And to make the point that it's not your father, your physical father, we have our Father who art in heaven. But heaven again is a symbolic idea. Where it would heaven be? It is no place. All of the references of religious and mythological images are to planes of consciousness or fields of experience potential in the human spirit. And these are to evoke attitudes and experiences that are appropriate to a meditation on the mystery of the source of your own being, I would say. So there have been systems of religion where the mother is the prime parent, the source, and she's really a more immediate parent than the father, because one is born from the mother, and then the first experience of any infant is the mother, so that the image of woman is the image of the world. You might say that mythology is simply a translation of the world into a mother image. We talk of Mother Earth and so forth.
But what happened along the way, Joe, to this reverence that in primitive societies was directed toward the goddess figure, the great goddess, the Mother Earth? What happened to that?
That comes in primarily with agriculture and the agricultural societies.
Fertility and all of that?
It has to do with the earth. The human woman does give birth as the earth gives birth to the plants. She gives nourishment as the plants do. So woman magic and earth magic are the same. They are related. And the personification then of this energy which gives birth to forms and nourishes forms is properly female. And so it is in the agricultural world of ancient Mesopotamia, the Egyptian Nile, but also in the earlier planting culture systems that the goddess is the mythic form that is dominant.
Because of this obvious perception of creation issue.
That's right.
Fertility.
And when you have a goddess as the creator, it's her own very body that is the universe. She is identical with the universe. And in Egypt, you have the Mother Heavens, Nut, the goddess Nut, who's represented as the whole heavenly sphere.
So it would be natural for people trying to explain the wonders of the universe to look to the female figure as the explanation for what they saw in their own lives.
Not only that, but then when you move to a philosophical point of view, the female represents what in the Kantian terminology we call the forms of sensibility. The female represents time and space itself. She is time and space. And the mystery beyond her is beyond pairs of opposites. So it isn't male and it isn't female, it neither is nor isn't. But everything is within her, so that the gods are her children. Everything you can think of, everything you can see, is the production of the goddess.
Phone lights glowing in the dark bedroom. Rain outside while the city hums. Your name flashing on my screen again, and suddenly I can't pretend. Soft voice dripping through the speakers slow, like velvet smoke moving through my soul. Every whisper pulls me near, like your body's already here. Call me closer. Ooh, don't hang up. Late night talking with the low bass sound. Your breathing got my mind spinning round. Purple shadows dancing on the wall. Every little word makes my defenses fall. You say my name in that dangerous tone. Now my lonely room don't feel alone. No touch, but I can feel your heat moving slowly underneath the beat. Stay on the line. Take your time. Street lights glowing through the window glass. Heartbeat racing while the minutes pass. Your soft laughter melts into the night, like neon dreams holding me tight. No games hidden in your voice tonight, only tension underneath the lights. Every silence says what words can't do. Now all I wanna hear is you. Ooh, talk to me slow. Don't let go. Maybe midnight made us feel this way. Two lost hearts with too much left to say. Every second pulling me in deep, till your voice becomes my favorite dream. Soft whispers mixed with static